battle for Middle-earth. Earth is about to begin.
So it begins.
Send these foul beasts into the abyss!
It's my power.
The great battle of our time.
Welcome to the Zorpazorp Battle Games in Middle-earth livestream. In this series, we cast our gaze back in time to the roots of our beloved Middle-earth strategy battle game to explore the fortnightly magazine serial Battle Games in Middle-earth. Each episode, we will delve into a single issue, poring over a treasure trove of retro gaming, following in-depth painting guides, terrain tutorials, and some crazy battle reports, all with a modern twist so you guys can enjoy them in your games at home. With each installment, we'll also focus on a release of models that accompanied the magazine, following their journey from painting bench to tabletop, and then at the end of every live stream, they'll be randomly assigned to one of our loyal Patreons to continue their days of gaming abroad, spreading the gospel of Zorpazorp. So, in the immortal words of the magazine itself, let battle commence. Welcome to Zorpazorp Gaming, my name's Lachlan Linton Keane, and welcome to the Battle Games in Middle-earth livestream. We are in issue number 24, which is pretty impressive. I hope you guys are having fun all around the world, whether it is evening or morning. Let's jump into the chat and see who is joining us today. Hello everyone, there's already 100 of you guys watching, tuning in from everywhere, which is super cool. Today we have a very, very fun episode. We are diving into issue number 19, which might seem odd in episode 24, but we've been zipping all over the place in these early issues, and we did a bit of a Moria campaign earlier, and we left out a couple of magazines, and now we're circling back around now that I have the very, very cool pieces that we need to do this one. It is going to be very special indeed. So today's episode is all about the Watcher in the Water. It is the Fellowship. They are camping out on the Holland Gate of the Mines of Moria, trying to get in when some pretty scary tentacled underworld sea monsters decide to come and attack them. Or sea monster, you know? Is it one big dude or is it lots of little dudes? The Fellowship aren't quite sure. We of course know that it is the Watcher in the Water. Very scary stuff. So we're going to be painting up some tentacles, and we might make some terrain. We'll see how we go for time, but I think I've got a great piece of terrain to film the scenario on, but it's not quite big enough and it doesn't have any lake on it. So we might build like a little addendum that just sits in front of it where we can sort of like build the lake, and then I can show you the resin pour at the start of the next stream before we play the game or something, because I don't know, I wasn't going to make terrain. I was just going to use that little board and adapt the scenario, and as I was getting everything ready last night, I was like, it'd be pretty cool to make some terrain. I haven't done that in a while. So yeah, I've just been editing, and I need to get crafty, so we might do terrain. What else we got today? We'll be having a look at well, we've got all sorts of stuff on campaigns. There's a bunch of cool stuff in today's magazine, as well as looking at some more complex rules, and then we've got a whole bunch of juicy special rules for our new units, which are the tentacles. Now, the tentacles are a bit of a controversial issue in, I guess, the Battle Games in Middle-earth history. When this book, I don't know, I'd love to hear your feedback in the chat or your experience. When this book 19 originally came out, it said, you know, in issue 18, it was like the next pack will only contain some paints. and supposedly you weren't supposed to get anything with this book, because each magazine, for those of you who don't know what the hell we're doing here today, because there are a bunch of new viewers, this is a fortnightly serial, where every fortnight we have one live stream where we go through an old magazine from the early 2000s, which was a fortnightly serial. So we're working our way through the whole 90 magazine collection, and each magazine came with some models and maybe some paints, a brush, and you would sort of build your collection over like 2 years. But nothing came with this magazine in terms of models. Now every week or fortnight here on the stream we will paint up whatever models came out with that magazine, and then I'll assign them to one of my Patreons. They become the official sponsor, they get to barrack for their models through the campaign, and then they get to keep them at the end of the filming. But this magazine supposedly didn't come with anything. But, and if you look in here, they're like, the tentacles do not exist. Do not, you know, use these cardboard cutouts when you're playing the games. But ladies and gentlemen, right here, we have 6 Games Workshop tentacles. These are Watcher in the Water tentacles, and I have no idea how they... Did they come with the magazine in some regions? Were they released in like a special thing? They're not listed as an official SBG release anywhere in the, you know, like the history of the game. Maybe in the collector's magazine, that might enlighten us. So if there's any detectives in the chat who know or want to go find out, someone go dive into the collector's magazine. Some dude just, a lovely guy down in Melbourne. Who was it that I got these from? Pat, maybe? I can't remember. It was like 6 months ago now, so I think it was Pat. Anyway, sent me up these, and I thought that these came with the magazine. Apparently not, so I don't know. Where the hell do these things come from? Anyway, look at these badass tentacles. So these are the tentacles that are going to be snaking up out of the water and attacking the Fellowship. And I believe perhaps in an earlier edition of SBG, because there's an actual Watcher in the Water model, which we can see in the thumbnail. Well, that's actually the wetter model, but Games Workshop has one. In earlier editions of SBG, I think that big tentacled scary dude could actually spawn those tentacle markers. Or am I inventing that? Is that just a narrative scenario? I haven't actually played with the Watcher. Kylie might know if she's in the chat, being Queen of the Watcher. But yeah, anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're going to paint up some sick tentacles. We're probably going to make a bit of terrain. And then I don't think we're going to have a battle report. That's going to be once we've got the board beautiful and delicious. We'll see how we go. We'll either do the bat rep today or make some terrain to make a cooler bat rep next fortnight. We shall see what we are vibing after we've painted some tentacles. Might throw it up to you guys in the chat and see what we want to do. Oh my goodness, there are so many people joining us as always. We've got Matty Dishner tuning in from Virginia. Hey, Top Table Steve. Good evening, Stevie. Sam is watching from Vermont in the USA. Giacomo, hey dude, how you going? He says, I just got to play my first SBG match in over 1 year this weekend, and it was amazing. Looking forward to many more. That's fantastic, dudes. Niall from Ireland. Good evening. Yeah, evening, Niall. We've got Jose, Eduardo, Daystro the Dexterous, a Houstonian greetings to all. Steve-O from the Isle of Wight. We've got Nathan joining from Poland, Sebastian from Germany, Alpha from Niagara Falls, New York. We have, Lockie, are using a different camera today. I thought the frame rate was being wiggly. Let me have a look. It's the exact same camera, it's the exact same setup, but there is definitely a little bit of chop happening. It isn't on YouTube's side either, and I have identical settings, so I don't know what that's about. Luckily, you don't have to look at my face being slightly deframed for too long. We'll get over to the camera and it won't be a big deal. But I will try and have that fixed for next week. I thought it might have just been my imagination. We've got... Scary is an understatement, says KS. That thing is nightmare fuel. Yeah, Watcher in the Water is creepy. Tommy Sager's joining in from the Netherlands. Chris McLean from Brisbane. Chris Wilson from the Midwest US. We've got Rick Van Beek is joining in for the first time from the Netherlands. What a surprise. We do usually get about 35% of the entire Netherlands population joining us each stream, which is exciting. We've got Daniel Van Zrenberg from Ireland. Odie, working on your redeemed Grima. Exciting, Odie. Can't wait to see. AD Phoenix says the video is choppy as well. Also a bit choppy. Excellent. Kim Jong-un is joining in. Oh, fantastic. Now we're on a watch list in North Korea. James Palmer, I think the tentacles you had were available to purchase separately, but only for a limited time. Okay, well, we shall continue our detective work. We have Joe Garman joining in from the UK. It's such an epic scene. I totally agree, Joe. Harry Sermon from Cheltenham in England. We've got Marky Tribe says, Happy Super Bowl Monday. Was it the Super Bowl this weekend? I did not even pay attention to that. Maybe it's the shutter speed on the camera. No, shutter speed's the same. Good suggestion, though. Pau Alcon is currently working on some Minas Tirith buildings from Barcelona. Are you working on our templates or making stuff from scratch? Are they 3D printed? Are they MDF? Lots of options for us all out there. Right, so Steve-O says he reckons they were available as a made-to-order or something like that for a period when the Watcher model originally came out. You know what? Let's do some detective work. What book would that have come out in? You know, you get to see the behind the curtains here. So let's go. Alright, I reckon it was the Big Blue Book. So, we're going through history of SBG here. I don't have my Fellowship one within reach. We've got 2 towers. I doubt the Watcher of the Water would have been in here, but let's flick through. It might have been that early. I think it was 05. I don't think it was 2. No, they wouldn't have released such a massive kit this early. It would have been too risky. Too risky. Yeah, no, it's not in there. I reckon it would have been alongside the Big Blue Book. Or maybe, it was definitely had rules in here. So let's find the Moria section in the Big Blue Book. Where the hell is Moria? Rohan. Oh, that's right. This is all over the place. It goes like good, evil, good, evil. Here we go. Okay. So, we have... Wow. No Watcher in the Water. Okay. It must have come out within the 2008 wave. So, we're looking for... Moria and Angmar. The army supplements. Okay, so let's go in and have a look. That's Angmar. We want Moria. The Balrog, the Dragon, the Watcher in the Water. Here we go. Let's have a look at the old rules. Okay, so it doesn't look like this Watcher in the Water, in its first incarnation, deploys any of these tentacles. So those tentacles must have been purely for narrative play. You know, I'm not gonna lie. It would be pretty badass to see those come back to match play. Let's have a look at how the tentacles function in the game. But it would be so cool to see the Watcher in the Water like deploy tentacles like the Spider Queen deploys broodlings. I don't know, what do you guys think? Would that be fun? I think it would be fun. I might talk to Jay. Well, we'll sort that out for next edition. That's a great idea. Jose Eduardo is joining us from Portugal. Andrew Graying from Ontario. We've got Nate from Arizona. Louis from Madrid. We've got GGG from Los Angeles. We've got, a big refresh on the stream. Designed by Alan Perry and Steve Saller, this set contains 6 tentacles from White Dwarf 310 2005 UK edition. Interesting. So, it did come out as early as I thought it did in 2005. Thank you so much to Oliver Hayward for tracking down that information. But it was purely for narrative play, and that's why it's not in the Big Blue Book. Yeah, right. So, I think I'm remembering now. They released the tentacles as a way to use the Watcher in narrative before the actual Watcher model and profile was released in matched play. So you used to never be able to play the Watcher in matched play. It was scenario only. That's why it was so early. Boom! Detective hat is now off. We have solved the case. Excellent work here. Pray for Plague says, is anyone in the chat a Lothlorien player? He may be looking for some advice. We'll have to wait and see. We've got some amazing Cyrillic letters joining us from Greece. Warwick says, hope you're well, checking in from London. Yes, we're doing quite well here in Australia at the moment, which is exciting. Life is much more normal than it has been in the last year. We've got Adam James Miniatures tuning in from Ireland. Super Bowl starts in a few hours, right? Of course, because it's, still Sunday in the US. That's why I haven't heard about it. Who is playing? We've been trying to convince the other 60% of the Netherlands to start watching the stream. Greetings from the Netherlands, says Tuan. Camille from Poland. Knights of Dice is joining us. Hey, dude. I have a new brush. I bought new brushes, guys. It's a miraculous day. No more will we be painting with dead, awful brushes, except for today, because we're doing very low detail work, so I'll probably use the beat up old brushes, but I can show you my new brush. I went for a Winsor & Newton synthetic series. It's a watercolor brush, but it looked like it was pretty suitable, / only one it was in stock, the right size, and it's a dream so far. It's a great synthetic brush. So I'll keep you updated with how the tip holds and all that. And it was $20 Australian, so pretty cheap. Not only Netherlands, also Belgium, says Innocence. Christopher Perry says, this is my kind of Super Bowl. Watcher in the Water Tentacles from the Northern, what do they call it? The East and West Convention or something? I can't remember how Super Bowl works. It's been ages since I watched. They have like 2 different ones, and then the team gets to the top, and then they play each other in the bowl. I think they're called the conventions. Might be North or South, or East or West. I was going to chat to you about streaming software, as mine's been a nightmare of late, says Steve. I use vMix. I probably don't need to. It's probably silly. I should probably use OBS Elements, or the Stream Studio OBS has. All right, I think we're up to date now. He says there's 50 more messages coming. Declan's joining us from New Zealand. Benz is watching from England. Welcome. Mandingo says, where are the bitches at? I don't know. They're never here. Can't find them. If by KS says, if by Lothlorien player you mean owns the models, then yes. If by Lothlorien player you mean knows how to play, then not me. Taylor Lowe says, what do you think of Moria as an army? It's fantastic. I love it. It's so much fun. I love the little Moria Goblin models. They're absolutely fantastic. It's very competitive. Conferences. That's the one. Not conventions. Conferences. Love it. Jairo Gonzalez Arroyo points out a very important fact, that there are 171 viewers and only 49 likes. Now, I will point out that when you guys were all waiting, there was 30 viewers and 30 likes. And I was like, that's pretty good, guys. But bing! Put that like button, boys and girls. Matty Hogg is joining us. And then we've got our final question before we swing the camera over, which is from Bledsoe, Lord of the Rings. What are your 3 favorite colors, like painting colors? Let's break this down into old Citadel, classic, we'll call it, and new Citadel. So what have I been loving lately? Skeleton Horde is awesome. It's my favorite contrast, so let's throw that in there. Just the amount of time it saves me doing Legion stuff. What else has I've been absolutely loving? I don't know. Let's answer that question when we've got the paints in front of me. I'll see what jogs my memory. Old school, it will be Dark Angels Green for sure. I loved the original Dark Angels Green. Maybe, I mean, I got to go Goblin Green, right? It's up there. And then perhaps Enchanted Blue, like my old Dol Amroth Blue. That was pretty cool. Yeah, Mori's definitely competitive. You gotta remember, bloody 4-point goblins. They're solid. You can get a lot of those dudes. Obviously, Regal Blue was good fun as well. I used to do Regal Blue base with Enchanted Blue blend, like highlights. That was cool. Or at least I used to think that's what I was doing, but I was 8 and had no idea what I was doing, so it didn't look like that. Red Gore, another classic. I guess I don't pick Red Gore because I basically have Red Gore because Vallejo's red, Gory Red is like the same. So, 86 likes, there we go. We went up by like 40 likes because I talked about it. Excellent work. Who was that? It was Gyro who prompted it. Shadow Grey, I used to love Shadow Grey. Alright, what we're going to do now is I'm going to fling the camera over, switch it to the other tripod. We're going to have a flick through the magazine. We're going to have a look at our little game that we're going to be playing maybe today, maybe tomorrow, next fortnight. I'll let you guys choose whether we make the terrain or play the game today, because we could do either. And I am partial to either. And then we're going to get painting some pretty cool tentacles, and I have some new paints to try out, some new washes. It's going to be exciting. All right, I will see you guys in, let's say, 57 seconds. Oh, I don't have my holding screen up. This time doesn't count. Okay, 57 seconds from now. Go! Oh, I left the mic on. You can still... Right, sorry about that. Longest 57 seconds of my life. I had to re-rig 2 cameras, a light, and a microphone cord after the whole setup fell off the table. Alright, let's have a look here. Tentacles. Now, I might be a little bit further away from you guys because I snapped a camera cord, so we're a bit shorter. But I think that's going to be close enough for you guys to see nicely. So we've got our tentacles there. I've got my mag. Let's get my phone and make sure you guys can actually hear me. Where is... He's dead! No, I'm not dead, but my camera was for a while. It was a slight moment of panic. What the hell did I do with my phone? How am I going to talk to you guys without my phone? There it is. So, let's have a look here. We've got... Let's swing that mic over here so you guys can hear me. We've got... if you guys could, I'd love a detailed review of the new Knights of Dice kit, says Tim Hazelkamp. Well, well, well. You hear that, Viv? People are asking for it. We'll have to do something now. I'm sure something might happen. We'll have to wait and see. Rick Van Beek says, I really miss the old chestnut ink. Yeah, that is a huge one. Chestnut ink was awesome. I never used it myself, but Damien from GBHL and Battle Streams of Middle-earth and, you know, SBG magazines and 17,000 other things that he does. He is always banging on about chestnut ink, or at least I seem to remember him doing so. Squaff says, is this the end? No, the world has continued. And now I even have the chat right here on my phone. Boom. And now I can see you all. Life is good. So, we're painting up some dope little tentacles, as you can see here. Ezekiel says, aren't you a week off? I don't think so. I haven't streamed a week early. We didn't stream last Monday, did I? Have I streamed a week early? Please someone enlighten me. I'm sure I didn't stream last Monday. Jeez, that'd be hilarious. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'm sure it's been a whole 2 weeks. Robert from Connecticut has joined us. He says, you inspired me to create my own Minas Tirith front gate in the style of your Ramus tutorials. Made my own hot wire cutter with a speed controller. Fantastic. Andrew says, I can feel the anger coming from the Grimhammers I'm painting right now. Yeah, they certainly don't like tentacles. So let's have a look at today's magazine. It's going to be not the most excellent angle because of my new... Oh, you know what? This is actually kind of better. The Walls of Moria. The Fellowship is forced down a much darker path after Saruman casts the heroes back from the pass of Caradhras. The journey takes them to Moria, where their first challenge is to defeat the Watcher in the water who guards the gate. Khazad-dûm is one of the oldest dwarven settlements. During the Second Age, the dwarves freely traded mithril they mined. During this happier time, the doors of Durin ever stood open. Very cool. Well, yes, it's a nice old place. We've got some cool rules about linking campaigns and stuff, which we used in our Moria campaign that we've already played. There's some extra stuff about writing your own bits and pieces. And then we have the battle, the Watcher in the water. Having been forced to change their route by the evil Saruman, the heroes decide that if they cannot travel over the Misty Mountains, they will travel under them. However, next to the gate lies a lake formed by the damned river Sarannon. As the Fellowship struggles to enter the mines through the doors of Durin, the Watcher in the water erupts from the lake, ensnaring the Ringbearer in tentacles. This battle game reenacts that fight with the Watcher. So they recommend that we use these cardboard cutouts, but we are going to be using, as previously discussed, the limited edition, now very rare, tentacles, which somebody, I believe it was Pat, sent me up from Melbourne, which was very nice of them. Well, you can see we've got a pretty dope board here. It's like a little 4x4, and if we just have a little panny over there, can I lift it up? There is part of our Moria board sitting over there. So, what we've got, we're going to be using my display board that I built for my Dragon Moria army. And then we might make some modifications to it. We'll let you guys choose whether you want to play the game today or whether you want me to build some more terrain. We've got some epic special rules for the tentacles. They can pick up the heroes, and their aim is to basically pick up Frodo and drag him off the board. It's very cool. We've got Peace Mooney says the Fellowship was the best film. I 100% agree with you there. They're all amazing, but like the Fellowship is like next level. It's just perfection in terms of cinema. I really like their little board they've got here as well. I quite like that. Our board, my Moria board's technically more of the west gate of Moria, but it'll do for us. Oh, we've got some lost. Here we go. We were talking about what our favourite colours are, and now we have a section on colour palettes. Look at all these beautiful classic Citadels. Oh, man. Alright, so let's go through some of these blues. Midnight Blue, Regal Blue, Enchanted Blue. Enchanted Blue was lit. Blazing Orange was great. The original Yellows. Terracotta. Oh, there's so many. Oh, Commando Khaki and Graveyard Earth. Excellent, excellent. But yeah, I think 3 colours for me of the classics. It's got to be Dark Angels Green, probably Goblin Green, and yeah, Enchanted Blue or Bestial Brown maybe. The old metallics are pretty fun as well. Oh, you got to go the old inks, don't you? They were so good, so good. And then they have a little terrain guide on how to make your own lakes and shores. A bunch of people have done some cool work on this. Andrew over at Beard Clipper, he did a really cool tutorial on his Gate of Moria. It looks absolutely amazing. And I think Damien O'Byrne, I know he made one. I can't remember if he did a hobby vlog on it or they just used it on their battle streams. But it was very cool as well. And in the original guide, they suggest to use like wallpaper tiles or ceiling tiles with a texture on them and then just put PVA glue on it. Very old school, very cool indeed. So, let's have a talk about these tentacles. Now, if we have a look at everyone, if everyone looks at the thumbnail and uses that as our reference, I'm going to take these guys off their spraying stick, which is a very important relic of Lockie's childhood, my wooden sword, which I used to use running around the Mornington Peninsula, killing Mumakil as Faramir. I'm going to take all these bad boys off. Now you'll notice that I have actually glued these guys down on a tiled base. So these bases, this is my own resin base that you can buy right now. They come in a pack of 10 or 12, can't remember. They're called Mountain Fortress. They've got some really nice flagstones and beautiful damage. They're absolutely stunning. They were sculpted up by Glenn Lamprecht, the Slayer Sword, and I think Golden Demon winner, who's a mate of mine. And he's done an absolutely awesome job. But the reason we're using some flagstones is because the lake, right, that these thingos are seething up out of, is a dam over the road that went out of the mine. So I sort of figured, well, there'd be flagstones under the water. So once these are all painted up later on, we're going to build up some water, and it's going to be like, you know, the flagstones are underneath because they've been submerged by the flooding or the damming of the Serranon. So they're going to be pretty cool. So these are... Let's get that light back up so you guys can see. These are pretty dope little tentacles. They've got 2 sides to them, like that fleshy underside and then the kind of darker exterior. Now, if we look at our painting reference, it's like a bony, fleshy color underneath, and then we've got a kind of like a lovely green. So we're going to have some fun with that, I think. We're going to we'll start with the fleshy stuff, and I've primed them in dark grey so that I can kind of use some contrasts and stuff. We'll do some undertoning, and then I just want to use a whole bunch of shades and different colors. And I just want to really experiment today with building up different colors of shades to try, you know, like a makeup artist would do with prosthetics, to try and tint stuff to create that hint of translucency. And then we might finish these off with a gloss varnish. Or what I might do is hit like the top with gloss varnish and the underneath with matte or something like that to give it that wet slime on the exterior. I am looking for khaki, so I think we'll start with khaki, and I'm actually gonna, I don't think I will put it on the wet palette, so I might leave a little bit of grey in the recesses, so I'll just work off a dry palette for now. And we're just going to overbrush some khaki in there just to sort of start to build up a kind of fleshy tone. We'll definitely tint it with something at some point. But yeah, because we just want it to be lighter. It's quite bony, which I found an interesting choice that the Weta guys went for. They've usually got great references, so I tend to paint my base my painting guides off like what the Weta models look like. So we'll just apply that to all 6. Angus Gallagher says that we're finally getting the Mountain Fortress space tutorial. Well, yeah, we'll have to paint them up, won't we? They will be submerged, but we'll need the stone to look good, so there we go. I delivered. Now I just have to remember how the hell Jacques painted them, because I think I got Jacques to paint the first ones for me. Or did I do these? Oh, I can't remember. For the photo shoot. There we go. So that's giving us a nice base tone. I'm just going to build that up, and then we'll put in some more highlights. And I don't know what we should tint the bony side with. We could give it a light wash in green just to tie it in. I think we won't apply any washes to the flesh until we've finished the back. Because that will sort of guide us. Why use a palette when you've got a cutting mat? Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, when I'm doing dry stuff, I just do it straight off whatever table I'm on. There we go. Getting a bit of that fleshy undertone. That's working. Jody says, wasn't the Watcher in the Water from the Two Towns video game a pale green as well? Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. We played through that level live on stream. Back when I used to do video game streams before they started killing my channel. Which was a harsh discovery to learn. In they go. That looks nice, actually. And then I think we'll go to a bone next. Probably shouldn't be using this brush, actually, seeing as I'm overbrushing. I mean, it's pretty beat up now. This used to be my good brush. But I should still keep it for medium layer size. Oh, you know what? Let's get really efficient. Where's my bloody dry brush? Let's get really efficient. Here we go. Right brush for the right job, people. The other great thing about these resin bases is they've just got enough weight to them that they're stopping the tentacles from overbalancing, which was a big problem. I was trying to glue them onto slaughter bases last night, and they just kept falling over, and I was trying to like weight them with pennies, and it was not happening. Yeah, my god, why the hell was I not using this brush from the start? I'm just gonna do another quick pass on all of those. I think I want it a little bit more saturated. Yep, there we go. We've got 2 left. You also notice that I have a bunch of empty bases, because there was only 6 tentacles, but there are 8 in the scenario. So I'm just going to have like a couple of bases with just water on them, like the tentacles haven't popped up yet. Which will work well enough for our gameplay, I think. See, a couple of them still fall over if you don't set them right down properly, so I might still chuck a 5-cent piece or a dime or a nickel, you know, insert appropriate local currency here. Just to get us started. That one was too thick, but that's okay. Doesn't matter if they're all different colours. Okay, so that's our start. Someone's talking about... Do Knights of Dol Amroth benefit from Boromir's banner as they have the stat? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Knights of Dol Amroth will start at fight 4, and then they get +1 fight value within range of Boromir's banner, so they'll go to fight 5, and Dol Amroth captains will go to fight 6. And Imrahil... Holy shoot! Imrahil would go to fight 7 in range of that banner. Yeah, there's a very... Well, not very popular, but there is a known list that runs Boromir, Captain of the White Tower, and Imrahil, Prince of Dol Amroth, all mounted. And you have a bunch of Knights of Gondor, and a bunch of Knights of Dol Amroth, and then maybe sometimes you combine a small warband of combined arms Dol Amroth forces. But yeah, you basically get the double buff where everyone's affecting everyone. Because I think Imrahil's banner... How does Imrahil's banner work? I think it might not affect the Gondor list, but Imrahil's... but Boromir's banner absolutely affects theirs. Alright, so now just doing another pass with some bone. With some... this is bleach bone from Vallejo. Or bone white, whatever they call it. It's bleach bone, basically. It's old Citadel bleach bone. We need more. Oh yeah, of course. Boromir's banner only hits warriors. What am I talking about? It affects Boromir himself and warriors. Yes. I was like, how does this work? Because it makes Boromir... You know, it specifically mentions Boromir and then warriors only. That means it won't affect the captains. So yeah, I guess the Knights of Dol Amroth would go to fight 5. Pyro Flame says, I appreciate Lockie just yeeting the tentacle when it's done. On to the next one. We got a model to paint here. Geez, these things are going to come up pretty quick. So that's our base tones down for the flesh, I think, after this bone. I don't know, maybe it needs more. I think that's getting a nice fleshy underside for us. Alright, so now we have a choice, right? So now we can start putting some green base tones down. You know, let's bring some palette onto it. Jody says, how did video games nearly kill the channel? So essentially, let me grab my paints first. There's some over here I want to use. The way YouTube works is, you know, the two most important factors are click-through rate and view duration. Oh, why have I got a message from... Oh, whoops, I didn't get the girls up. Crap. You guys were supposed to remind me at 8:30, but I forgot to ask you to remind me. I'll just message them and be like, wake up. So yeah, the way YouTube works is it's all about CTR and view duration. So the big factor is getting people to like click on your stuff. But every time YouTube shows you someone's stuff and you don't click on it, that's like a negative strike against them. And so when you do things that are like kind of off-brand, that aren't reliably clicked on by your core audience, YouTube sort of penalizes you for it. So I have a big problem with my channel at the moment is because I do 40k content, Lord of the Rings content, and Star Wars content, I have a fragmented audience. I don't have 35,000 subscribers of the same type of viewer. I have 3 types of viewer. And then within that, I have sub-viewers, where I have people who watch the painting tutorials, people who watch the battle reports, people who watch the terrain, but don't watch anything else. So every time I upload a video, all of my audience doesn't go, oh sweet, Lockie's uploaded a video. If it's a Star Wars video, that portion majority will watch. If it's Lord of the Rings, that portion majority will watch, and the same for 40k. So whenever I upload, YouTube goes, oh that's weird, only a third of Lockie's audience are interested in his video, therefore it must be shit, and I will not recommend it. So that's why my growth is a lot slower than many of my contemporaries, is because I get penalized by the fact I'm covering multiple systems. It's like early in your career, it's like got short-term gains because you increase the breadth of your audience by, you know, trying to hook more viewers in from different systems. But long-term, it's murder. It's murder. So gaming live streams are like the ultimate extension of that, where they're so different from all my other content, is that like a few core viewers would watch and have fun, but a lot of my kind of less dedicated viewers wouldn't click on it. So they'd be shown a live stream thumb, not click on it, and then never be shown my thumb again for another month, you know, or for any of my normal videos. So I realized when I had the audience fragmentation problem that I had to start slimming down the breadth of my content. So the gaming live streams were an obvious thing to pull, but I still love all 3 systems and I still want to cover all 3 systems. So I just need to find a way to make each video that I'm doing engaging for like a bigger portion of my audience, not just the people who play the game. So that's why you see the focus on these battle reports that are really high quality, so that they can engage all sorts of viewers, not just dedicated people who play the game. So, and then sometimes it's like, yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that like this live stream might be doing a similar thing, where it only really engages with the Lord of the Rings portion of my audience, and then again it's a live stream, so it's even more specialized, so even less people of that audience are watching it. But I'm never getting rid of these. I just love doing them so much, and they're obviously hugely important to my Patreons, which are really important to me. So I don't mind the trade-off on these live streams, that it like... Doing these live streams is probably damaging my growth on YouTube, but it's really great for my Patreons, and I love my Patreons, so that's worth it. But doing like the video gaming live streams, and then the other side of it is that like video gaming always used to be like my fun that was like not work related, and then I started only gaming when I was streaming because I have an obsession with working. I'm definitely a workaholic. So I had some good advice from some good people, and they were like, I think it was Emil, he was like, dude, just play games for fun and relax and learn to actually relax. Or I think it might have been Brent. Or Neil. Was it Neil? I think it was... Anyway, we were all talking about it, and so we kind of made the decision together that I should stop doing the gaming live streams. For the hurting of my channel and also for my mental health. So I play games by myself, or like, you know, and not have the pressure of working, quote-unquote, while playing. So... let's go... So yes, we're talking about the back. So I've just got these two new shades which I've never used before and I really want to try them out. I've got Bealtan Green and Celia Green shade. So I reckon we could do some cool stuff with them. And then of course from a contrast point of view, I do have Dark Angel's Green buried in here somewhere. And there's, you know, Agrak's Earth shade could be fun to wash into the grimy skin. There's a Thonian Camo shade. So I really want to experiment, where's Dark Angel's Green, with a bunch of different ways of painting this kind of skin. And we're just going to be flying by the seat of our pants, I think. So there's some Caliban Green. Let's just get out all the greens. I don't think we'll use Hexwraith Flame. That can probably stay in. Luminescent Green. You never know. There might be a use for it, but it can stay in for now. Where's my Dark Angel's Green contrast? Basilicanum Grey. I imagine we'll need that at some point. So our two kind of methods. Maddie says Celia Green shade is more of a turquoise. Yeah, I like that idea. Having a bit of like darker blues running through parts of it. Piero Flame says Armor 3 with Patrons when? Definitely, that sounds heaps fun. I usually play Armor twice a week, but I go through periods where I play it intensely and then don't play it because I'm like too busy working or anxious about work, so I'm working at night, which is bad. But, alright, Dark Angel's Green in here. So, we can either build up like a highlight profile of light greys and then tint it with glazes, or we can put the color in the base coats. So let's just, I think I'm going to start with Dark Angel's Green, and we're going to see what that looks like. So I'm going to grab some light grey, just like a generic light grey, the old Fortress Grey really, or Stonewall Grey, which is what Fortress Grey is in Citadel. And I'm just going to dry brush... I'll probably do this to all of them, actually, because regardless of the technique, it's going to be nice to have those extra highlights. You'll notice I haven't even cleaned my brush between all these dry brushes, because I just don't care. Like, it's an organic form. Like, who cares if it's a little bit... You know, some of it blends more to bone, some of it's more pure grey. There's definitely a difference. So we're just dry brushing this grey to make it a bit brighter before we apply any tints, base coats, anything. I think even the base coats will be in thin layers to keep the, you know, just to do work for us. All right. I just spent the weekend planning a really cool Lord of the Rings event that's going to happen here in Brisbane. And it's going to make some epic content for the channel. We're going to have some pretty cool games. It's gonna generate some very fun videos, I think, that you guys are going to really like. Obviously, we're currently building towards this massive Minas Tirith game, where we have about 40 players on the board. You know, 20 players on each side, all fighting over Minas Tirith. So the rules for running a scenario, like a multiplayer scenario like that, I really want to iron them out. So we're almost doing like a mini version of that in different ways to check in and see how my system works. It's going to be pretty cool. Gamerholic says, I don't normally listen to live streams, but when I paint models, I watch YouTube. So this is happening when he's painting models. Fantastic. Nick Games says, so the YouTube algorithm uses the algorithm to boost channels at the same time destroy channels. The algorithm is not that helpful. Yeah, essentially, if you want to make it on YouTube, just make the same video over and over and over and over again. Make it short, like 2 minutes long, and you know, make it, you know, obviously good content and engaging. But so if viewers know what to expect, like a great example is a mate of mine's channel, Elias. They've got a channel called Cracker Milk. It's a comedy channel. They upload like 30-second to 1 minute long skits. And every one of their videos is a 30-second to 1 minute long skit. So their audience know that when they click on that thumbnail, they're going to see a funny joke and some great comedy, and their videos are tiny. So when you watch it, their viewers click on all their thumbs because they know, oh, that's easy. I know what that is. I'll just watch it. That video is for me because I am part of the audience. And then when they watch it, they watch the whole video because it's so short. So they get great CTR and great view duration. And they're just blowing up. You know, they're on like 150k now. So that stuff happened. Whereas, you know, that's when you don't have a fragmented audience. As a similar example, the great study of wargaming YouTube success is, of course, Emil, and he uploads he has the same principle that, like, all of his videos, well, mostly will appeal to all of his audience. It's the same style, the same type of engaging content. There's not like a great breadth of different content styles. There might be lots of different topics covered, lots of different parts of the hobby engaged with, but all of his viewers, or most of them, are interested with all of that breadth. To a point. It's not like someone who's making vastly different styles of content within vastly different systems. So yeah, YouTube's a bit of a science, bit of an art. It's mental. It's mental. Alright, so we've got that dry brush down. Let's just whack some stuff down. We're going to start with Dark Angel's Green. This is our contrast. Piero Flame says, force the Legion fans to sit through half a Lord of the Rings video. Sam, you're late! Kea says, just like Phthalo Green. I'm guessing you're talking about the turquoise one. Alright, we're going to throw some Dark Angel's Green down. This is our contrast. Let's just have a look at how dark this is when we put it over this kind of lighter grey tone. So this is pretty green, but it's not too bad. No, this is good. We like this. So we're going to drag this over the whole rear, the whole back side of this one, and we're going to have a look at what we think about that. Anyway, I won't ramble on about YouTube-y stuff too much. I'm sure most viewers don't really care about that. But sometimes it's interesting for you guys to get a look behind the curtain, kind of understand why I upload the stuff that I do. I guess. I don't know, maybe it's not interesting at all. It's interesting to me, unfortunately. Alright, so we've got some Dark Angel's Green. That's going to give us a nice green. It is a contrast paint, but it doesn't kind of separate the most. So that's kind of, you know, we've got that cream tone there sort of set up. Let's have a look at something like doing a Beeltan green shade straight over. Now, someone said, careful with that. It's a very strong color. Lucas is joining us from Germany. Let's try whacking down some Beeltan green and seeing what that does. I'm so excited to check out these new shades. Okay, this is very cool. So this is obviously much more that shade consistency. Should be trying to do this more up here. I keep forgetting that my camera setup's different today. Sorry, guys. So this is obviously giving us much more of that detail because it's a shade. So we're seeing a lot of that undertoning come through. At the very least, I think this Beeltan green is a real candidate for washing the skin with to give it a green tint. But I really like that. That's fantastic. Okay, so we've got some... you know, maybe we do a couple of layers of that. Maybe we work in some other layers. Let's try Athonian. No, we'll try the new ones. Let's try Celia green shade and see how turquoise it is. Oh wow, it is blue, man. Look at this thing. Yeah, geez, this is like dark turquoise. This ain't blue green at all. I like it. This is very cool color. There's a little bit of dark green, just the tiniest bit of dark green in the pigment. When you put it on a bit thicker, you can really see it. Oh, that's really cool. Goodness, I like that color. Okay, that's nice, that's nice. Alright, so we got some Celia green shade down on that one. Oh, we have a visitor. Uno momento, por favor.
I'm not sure whether it was like this.
You're talking about the shutter?
That, no,
Yeah.
but it's really blue.
Oh, what, the screen is really blue?
It's just like the colours.
Oh, my white balance might be on. That's fine. Thank you. I'm getting quality control from the missus. She says my white balance is too blue. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Where the hell is white balance in these goddamn Sony menus? Picture pro. Oh, white balance. Oh, yeah, I changed it to warm white. Good lord. Okay, we want... Let's just chuck it on auto. Look at that. There you go. That might help. When we're doing a painting tutorial, it's usually good to have a nice neutral color tone. Does this look better for you guys? How realistic is that? My hands are pretty... Yeah, I think that's a better color. So let's have a look at what we've done so far. So, in focus. Good work. So we've got here like the 3 different tentacles. One's just had a base in Celia Green shade, one's just had a base in Bealtan Green, and one has had that Dark Angels Green base. So these are looking really interesting. I love the idea of building up layers of both of those lighter shades. I think let's try our other classic green shade. Let's go for Athonian Camo shade next. Okay, good. You guys say it's way better. Sorry about that. KS says, Lockie uses a lot of interesting narrative rules in his Legion videos, which in my group, the players would have a heart attack if you suggested them to them. Yeah, 100%. The Legion community has a very competitive mindset, or at least like part of the Legion community, and that's just because of the way that FFG have marketed their game, because that's what they do, competitive systems. There are loads of people out there who wanted to play toy soldiers that acted out the stories of Star Wars, and Fantasy Flight did not cater to them, and so they left the system, because Fantasy Flight couldn't manage a wargame system if their life depended on it. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Thank goodness they are gone. But it has moved over to the inherent problems with the game, the production-y elements of the game are Asmodee based, dictated to FFG. So hopefully we won't see those problems still occur with Atomic Mass Games, who are also owned by Asmodee. But we shall see. Pessimistic Lockie over here. So Athonian Camo Shade might just be the best of the bunch. It's got that. Basically, the way I think about Athonian Camo Shade is it's like, I don't know if this is true, but it seems like Bealtan Green with Agrax Earthshade. It's like greens and browns, right? With maybe not in a 50-50 ratio, and maybe not that strong, perhaps a little diluted. Hey, Dana's in the chat. Evening, Dana. So I feel like Athonian Camo Shade is definitely in the mix as one of our supreme color choices here. This has basically become less of a Watcher in the Water tentacle painting tutorial and more Lockie playing with his new shades and you guys watching for an hour. But I'm fine with that. It's fine. Let's try going darker first, just to kind of mix this up. We're going to have all these tentacles that look really different because we're trying all these different paints, but I don't really care about that. They're tentacles, they're coming out of the water. It's going to be fine. I'm just going to throw down some Basilicanum Grey. Just to kind of like really set up some nice recessed detail on this darker side, and then I'll tint it with a green, and we'll have a look at how that changes the way the green comes through. We've got the Queen of Glazers in the chat. Dana, what's your favorite GW wash? We're working with greens today, making these little tentacles. And we've got, we're working with Bealtan Green, Celia Green shade, Athonian Camo shade, and then I've got a bit of, some contrast and stuff kicking about as well. Do you use many of the GW shades? Alright, so there's one more fella left. Let's try, let's have a look here. I think the Dark Angels Green is out. Well, I mean, look, if we're going to do it, let's do it properly. So let's highlight it up. I've got Deathworld Forest here, again, a new paint I haven't used yet. So we could do some kind of just quick overbrushes with that. Let's give that a whirl. She says the one that she uses most is Agrax. Loving it. Loving it. Agrax is the bomb. So let's give this, this is Deathworld Forest. Haven't given this guy a try yet. Just going to do a really light overbrush. Bringing up the Dark Angels Green. It's got that, it's kind of like a Death Guard vibe, but a little bit browner, I think, than Death Guard Green. Bearing in mind that we are going to, we will gloss this up and shine it up, so it will go a little bit brighter once we get that gloss varnish down. Yeah, that's interesting. Let's whack down another bit of green. Where's my Goblin Green? Oh, not Goblin Green. I wouldn't waste Goblin Green on this. I think Warflesh is too dark. Nope, that's Goblin Green. Where the hell? Oh, crap. Hey, look at that. That's why you pin models. That should have snapped, but we are in luck. That one. Warpstone Glow. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Agrax is so good for Lord of the Rings. Absolutely. KS says, my last 2 pots of Agrax Earthshade have left a bit of a sheen. Sometimes that happens with the GW washes. If you matte varnish it though, it does go away. So as long as you're matte varnishing your models, it's not a problem. But yeah, my washes do that all the time. It's supposed to come from like when you don't shake them enough, but I find it happens anyway. So there's just a little kick of Goblin Greens. That gives us that kind of brighter element. But I think I'm preferring these like glazy, washy approaches. So let's keep grabbing stuff. Let's grab our Beal Tan Green, and we'll layer some Athonian Camo Shade over the top. Yeah, it's that neutral tone, isn't it? Like the browns, it's just like built for Middle Earth. So I'm trying to like channel my my Gino Acevedo here. If any of you guys remember Gino from the Lord of the Rings special features, he's one of the makeup artists, or was. Then he moved into VFX, and he does this like little micro doc on layering skin tones with like glazes to you know, create the effect of translucency. I don't think it's going to work on this scale, but we're going to give it a go anyway. So that was Athonian Camo Shade over Beal Tan Green. Let's try Beal Tan Green over Celia Green Shade. We're just like, this is so fun. It's just like experimenting stuff. That's Dark Grey. Where's Celia Green Shade gone? That's the other one. That was Celia Green Shade, which has dried a little more green than it was. And now we'll bring in our Beal Tan. One thing the Celia Green Shade did do is give some really nice recessed shadows, which the Beal Tan Green wasn't strong enough to do on its own. Yeah, dude, the 2 new ones are winning it for me. Combining Celia Green Shade and Athonian Camo Shade. So that's Athonian Camo Shade, I believe. It's gone that like a little bit too brown. So also, I find my Athonian Camo Shade sometimes goes weird. It like pulls grey. Maybe it just needs a really good shake. Get some Beal Tan Green over the top of that. Let's whack Beal Tan Green over the Basilicanum Grey to give that green tint back. But this is the attempt at making a really dark one. Lockie Playing with Shades, brought to you by Battle Games in Middle Earth. Yeah, that looks nice. The Basilicanum Grey did the legwork for our recessed detail, and the green shade there, or the Beal Tan, doing some work for the tint. That's really cool. All right, let's try another Celia Green Shade. I think I'm really vibing that. Oh, Typhus Corrosion, of course. That's got to be my favorite new Citadel paint. Absolutely. I love that paint. I think it finds its way into like every 40k paint scheme I do somewhere. Is it in my Necrons? Yeah, it's in my Necrons. Might not be in my Blood Ravens. Might use it for some smearing. Sometimes I use it like a streaking grime. Alright, down goes the Celia Green Shade. So I guess we've got to start thinking about what we're going to do for this skin wash. Alright, what's everyone's favourite way to get super glue off fingers? Asking for a friend. Tim Hazelkamp says, I use the Dremel with a sanding bit. No joke. Yeah, I've done that before. You lose a bit of your fingertip, but your fingerprint. Yeah, these are looking pretty cool. These are looking pretty cool. So that's Celia Green Shade down neat. All right, what do we? Let's save this Dark Angels green one. I just don't like how it doesn't have the same aesthetic as the washes. So I think it's got the green in there. Let's Celia Green Shade that one as well, and we'll whack that in. So what are people's general feelings on once we've finished these guys? Because we have the 2 options, and I'm going to let you guys choose today. We can either go straight into a battle report using the tentacles, and see them kick ass, which is going to be fine, or we can easily adapt the scenario to the board I have, or we could do some terrain. We could extend the board and just look a little bit at making base readies. We won't be able to pour resin today, because the varnishes will have to dry first. But we could have a look at... Oh, man! But yeah, so have a think about whether you guys would like to see a battle report today or terrain. We won't be able to do both, but we can do one. So I've just put Celia Greenshade over those layered greens. So this scheme for this one is now Dark Angels Green, Deathworld Forest, Warpstone Glow, Celia Greenshade. Sorry, there were some serious pauses there. I could not remember. So that one's looking pretty cool too. That's got more of a kind of foresty green look in it. We've got battle report, terrain. Cool. Well, still a good mix. We'll see how you guys feel by the time we get there. Let's get some Celia Greenshade down on this one. I think I might have need to shake these more. Celia Greenshade is absolutely key to this scheme. I'm surprised how much I've fallen in love with it. I was suspicious of it, I must admit. I was like, well, that's pretty blue. That's why I bought Beeltangs. I was like, it's for a, I'm doing a Necron scheme tutorial soon. Another scheme. I was like, oh, I'll need a bit of greeny washes and... Alright, these are this top side is starting to get done. I would call that one finished. I would say we've built up some cool color profiles there. Which one is this? That is Beeltan green over the grey. That needs a lot more work. This is... I think that needs some more Beeltan green. So now it almost looks like I'm doing like a couple of coats of Beeltan green, a couple of coats of... thanks, Dana. I'll see you later on. Yeah, I think it's sort of like maybe 2 coats of Beeltan, 1 coat of Celia Greenshade, and then like any other ones, any other bits you're just sort of adding for flavor, but those are like the core of the scheme, I think. Very fun. It's just so fun slapping on washes. It really is. This one, however, has had too much green, so that needs some Athenian camera shake. We're really getting there now. It's looking slimy. It's looking dark and greeny. Bye. Any advice on what color to do the eyes on my B2s? Went with a silver and blue scheme and don't want to do the standard red and have American droids. You could do like orangey yellow to kind of really pop against that blue. And, you know, like that digital yellow look. The color palette I'm thinking of is like the engineer symbol from Mass Effect that I have on a t-shirt. Like a golden kind of yellow would look pretty cool, I reckon. Alright, so that is everything appropriately tinted, I think. On the top side, we're just going to need to do the bottom. P. Smitty says they just started filming Kenobi near me. That's exciting. Where are they? What did they end up deciding on the filming location? I haven't tuned in. I haven't really paid much attention to film stuff since I quit film, really. Alright, I think that's good. Maybe a little more green on this one. But yeah, we've got some cool, slimy tentacles, which I think will look pretty dope. It's in a quarry. Yeah, I meant like, what location and what part of the world, Smitty. Modified Fit says, Lockie, sup my man? Hey dude, how you going? So now we need to do some washes on this. Now I wanna keep a bit of the greens, but I think, and my gut is Beeltan, but I think neat Beeltan is gonna be too strong. So I'm gonna water it down with a bit of Lamian if I have it. Do I have Lamian medium? Yes, I do. So the wet pellet's coming out for the first time today. I'm just gonna grab, I'll just do like a 1-to-1 ratio. Spoon out, maybe we'll go 4 spoonfuls of lamy and medium. And I don't know, maybe only 2 Bieltan green. Yeah. Alright, so there's me thinned Bieltan. Let's see if we think that's too thick. No, I think that's good. I think once that dries, it will lose a bit of saturation and be nice. Just to give it a little bit of green. Because I still think even the skin should have like a slimy, recessed detail. And I may end up doing this in layers. One pass might not be strong enough, but I'd rather have that thinner glaze and have like control of that. And do a couple of passes. Very cool stuff. I don't have any resin, unfortunately, so I can't do the bases for these guys today, which is annoying. It would have been really fun to do the bases. Guess I could try and dissolve some white spirits, but it's probably not going to get the right look. Well, there we go. I just used all of that glaze, like literally the perfect amount. So that slight green is now down on the flesh. Alright. Jody says, do you prefer painting super fast this way, or do you usually take a bit more time if you weren't streaming? It takes me hours to complete a model. Look, obviously I'm trying to paint 6 tentacles on the stream here, so I am certainly going fast. But it depends on the thing. You know, Rohan Royal Guard, you know, might take me 3 hours per model. But these are tentacles, man. They're just all a big block of skin tone. You don't need to go slow with this. Just go quick, slap it on. If something doesn't work, slap it on. Yeah, so streaming has definitely made me a faster streamer. A faster painter, rather. So I'm loving these. As they're drying, they're starting to look really cool. I'm definitely liking how we've built some of that, like, different sort of color into the tentacles. That's really nice. I think I need, believe it or not, I think we want a little bit of thinned Celia green shade to push a little bit of blue into the recesses of that skin. I really love it on the back, and because it's lighter, it's gonna look different. So we'll do that. While we're waiting, though, because I want that Bieltan green to dry. Let's see, how much green is it left on that? It'll be fine. I'm just going to dry brush all of the bases with that light grey. Just to create a little profile on that. So here you go, Angus. Fortress Ruin... what are these called? I can't remember the name of my own product. Mountain Fortress. Dark Fortress Ruin is a product that no longer exists. So just doing a nice little dry brush all over the bases. We're just gonna pick out all of the stunning detail in these resin bases. I was rambling on before about them here. I'll come in real close for this for you guys so you can have a look up here. But there's just so much stunning detail in these. They were sculpted by Glenn Lamprecht. The Slayer Sword and Golden Demon winner. Fantastic sculptor and converter as well. And I think they're on special at the moment too, because I think I forgot to turn off the sale, which I'll probably do now I've remembered at the end of today. So if you guys want some epic resin bases with flagstones, check out my store. Link is in the description. You can see, because I've got bone still on this, the highlight's going a little bit bone, but I don't really care. I think that's fine. Oh, I'm putting bases in paint. That's great. Just going to get a nice little dry brush on all of these. Doesn't matter if the dry brush is too heavy in some spots. That's fine. And then we're going to wash it all back. So what I'll do, I think, is I'll paint these as if I would normally, and then I'm going to wash them with Celia green shade to just darken them and give them a blue tint. before the water goes over the top. I like that. That's good. And I'm just gonna... I've got like a whole set of 10 here, so I'm just gonna do all of them this style, so that if I want to like expand the game and make it harder, I've already got the like tentacle bases made, and I can just add them in as extra tentacles. Dude, yeah, we really got to get the Watcher and the Water Tentacles back in the game. These are great. Imagine the Watcher spawning these in the middle of a match play game. This is super cool. Just makes like an army of snakes, spawns them in, and they don't, you know, you're killing them and they just keep coming back. Yeah, that's going to be very cool. Alright, what's happening in the chat? Are your products carried by any US company, says Robert? No, not at this point. Yeah, the shipping's a bit rubbish to the US. The good thing is the bases are so light that you, even if you buy like a bunch, because it's by weight, right, you won't go out of the first shipping bracket. I think you can order like maybe even 8 packets before the shipping price changes. I think it's what, like 24 Australian dollars, I think. And you poor Yanks aren't used to paying shipping on anything. Whereas, you know, like in Australia and other parts of the world, we're used to paying shipping on everything. So Aussie customers are like, sure, whatever. But I always get complaints from Americans saying, oh, that's crazy expensive. Why isn't it free? Oh, well, I'm about, you know, however many thousand of kilometers away from you. That's why I can't make it free, I'm afraid. It does cost money. But yeah, we don't have a... eventually I might put my bases in a US store. I'll have to wait and see. The resin stuff isn't like a huge focus, you know, it's more the Geek Gaming stuff. The Geek Gaming stuff has a, they've got a US distributor. I'm just the Australian, New Zealand distributor. But I sell to around the world and stuff, because often the other stores might be out of stock or something, so if people are happy to pay the postage and don't mind waiting, I'll ship anywhere in the world, except UK, because that doesn't make any sense when you can just buy it from the UK. Alright, we're almost done with these bases. Just a quick little dry brush. They're going to be under the water, so I'm not particularly worried about making them extremely intense. Dude, I'm not going to lie, I'm really feeling the battle report, hey? After painting these up and looking at the board over there, we might have to work out some modifications live on stream to work, just to make it a bit fairer. Because it's not quite the right size board if we do play it today, but that'll be fun. Okay, so that's all of that dry brush. It's definitely gone a bit more bony than I intended because of that, but I think that's fine. International Man of Mystery. Alpha says, one day I'll make enough money to get these bases and have Lockie make me a gaming board or display board. Not anymore, you won't, Alpha. I don't do commissions anymore. They were taking too much time away from the channel, but you're more than welcome to buy bases, of course. Yeah, the commissions have all been canned these days. Prefer to focus on making videos for you guys. Alright, let's throw Celia Greenshade down on... oh, we wanted to do Celia Greenshade down on the flesh. Let's just see if it is too strong neat on a base. So this is Celia Greenshade going down on a base. No, it's not too strong. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So we're just giving the base that little under-the-water tint. It gives us the recessed shading we want, as well as putting it into the blue space. Yes, I like that. I love discovering a new wash. Recessed details, done. Blue water tint, done. Not the water is blue. Luke's having a stroke in his sleep somewhere. But water is dark, and you know, sometimes water is blue, Luke. It's nighttime. It's reflecting the dark blue of the sky, or something. I don't know. I want it to be dark blue. It's not dark blue. It's going to be clear. Just kind of darky, murky blue tint. Down here on the tiles. Just creating that illusion of depth. I also think I could probably put the Celia green shade down neat on the skin. No, might be a bit too strong. Let's just try it on one. Nah, it's not too strong. Because the highlights I did are so bright. And I think the wetter bone scheme is too light on the underbelly. Pete the Wargamer is joining us. Jeez, all my fellow tubers are tuning in today. How you going, Petey? We're doing Watcher of the Water Tentacles today, for ones to get in focus. Hello. Excuse me, camera. Pete the Wargamer is tuning in. Can you get in focus, please? There we go. So we're just we've just basically I've had fun experimenting with shades while people watched me. We've just thrown down Bealtan green, Celia green shade, Athonian camo shade. And we're just chucking shades down, trying to build up like translucency of color to hint at skin tone and get all sorts of color. And now I'm just doing a little bit of a blue tint on these bases because eventually they'll have water effects over the top of them. A bit of resin will go down. So yeah, it's been good fun. What are you working on at the moment? What are you painting up? Yeah, they're so fun. These are like all, you might remember them coming out actually, being an old Middle-earth boy yourself. But yeah, they were released in like 2005 as a limited made-to-order when the Watcher in the Water was like originally released, or when the scenario books. It might have been for the Journey books, the Two Towers Journey or the Fellowship of the Ring Journey book. So they were only for narrative play, and they released them. But they're absolutely perfect for the scenarios in our live stream magazines. So they're getting painted up today, and then we were going to either make some terrain or do a battle report with them, and I think the fans are leaning towards voting for the battle report, so we'll see them in action at the Gate of Moria. I've got like a little display board that will adapt to play the scenario, which should work quite nicely. So here we go. They're like graboids on Aitken, says Tom Marshall. Chucking down shades like Angmar, says Matty Dishner. Don't insult me. I don't play Shade Angmar, I play real Angmar. Angmar, not on easy mode. I hate the Shade. Not a fan. Yeah, we've got a 200-point tournament coming up soon. It's a good evil tournament. So you have to bring a good army and an evil army, and I'm currently trying to work out what my Angmar 200 points should be, whether it should be Witch King with Orcs, Barrow White with Orcs, 2 Barrow Whites with Orcs, 3 Barrow Whites with Orcs, 1 Barrow White and Witch King with Orcs, and then, you know, like the odd Wild Warg for a bit of high movement, or maybe 1 Warg Rider, maybe a Spectre. It's going to be fun. 200 points is really tricky, so I'm settled on Angmar, but actually this is a good question for the chat. I have no idea what to do for my good army, because I'm not doing Rohan. Pete the Wargamer says, I may be misremembering, but I believe there was an original someone... I believe there was original someone who custom sculpted a Watcher before the... Yes, there was! So there was a magazine article. It was like, it would have been like White Dwarf 315, or like somewhere in that one, where before the Watcher got released... it might have been one of the Perrys, or, you know, one of the other lads who was still kicking around at that time. They sculpted a Watcher in the Water from scratch for, like, I think that was alongside the Two Towers Journey book release. That was before the original model came out. And if I remember, that model still looks better than the model that we have as the official GW model, where they turned it into, like, half cockroach, half Watcher. Bloody weird. But I really, yeah, I should try and dig that up. That'd be a fun video. Trying to sculpt that. Sculpting a Watcher from scratch. We've got Van McCam says, I don't know the first thing about Middle-earth or lore, but painting models hooked perfectly. Brilliant. That's what we like. But yeah, there we go. It's still in focus. So that's the end of our Celia green shade. No, I lied. One more. That's the end of our Celia green shade going down on the bases, is what I was going to say. We still need to put a little bit of it down on our inside flesh tone. Then I think these guys might be done. And crikey, we've already been going for an hour and a half. It's about time we finished painting. That is lining up nice. Okay, so those shades will need to dry. I'm just going to let it all dry for a sec while I check back in with the chat. Alpha says, my buddy spams shades. I have Minas Tirith and Haradrim. I have no answer to his compels breaking apart my lines. Yes, shades are frustrating. Here, I'm excited. Okay, here we go. Big German name. Big German name. Hier konnte ich Werbung stehen. Says, I think you should do something with orcs, maybe. Yes, orcs will definitely be in there. Edragon says, I'm actually building an Angmar army whilst using some Dunland warriors to flesh out the force. Wouldn't it be amazing if we got men of Rudau and Cardalin and all that kind of stuff eventually? Yes, please. It's in the Two Towers Best of White Dwarf book. Oh, very cool, says Chris. Do I have that over there? Or have I only got the Fellowship one? Jeez, that'd be cool. Hang on a sec, people. I'm just going to have to lean across the camera. Which Best of White Dwarf book do I have? Where is it? Where is it? Fallen Realms, Pelennor, Best of White Dwarf. Which one is it? Oh, I've only got the Fellowship one. I've got the Best of White Dwarf Fellowship. Which, I don't think it's in. I think you're right. It's not in this one. Painting guides, painting guides, painting guides. No, we're too early now. It definitely wasn't this early. Some cool battle reports in here. I think I just saw a nice watcher, nice... Far out, look at this board. Look at this board! God, this is amazing. Sorry, I'm not even showing you the right page. Look at this Moria board. Juicy stuff. Juicy stuff. But yeah, it'll... Oh man, I need the Two Towers one. I still haven't got the Two Towers Best of or the Return of the King Best of. Great stuff. Great stuff. No love for the big boy Golfimble. I think Golfimble doesn't have March. But not at 300 points. Not when you've got the options you do. Have I forgotten another one? I think I have. Or is it just dried? Yeah, I think I have done it and it's just dried already. Must have been the first one I did. Nah, there's no blue on that. What am I talking about? One left. One left. Oops. Whoops. Oop. Sorry if I just put someone in the bin. Just leant on the stream keyboard there and accidentally nearly reported a user. Either that or I accidentally promoted someone to moderator. One of the two. If someone just got supreme powers, executive powers, please own up. Alright. Carl says, I missed Middle-earth, I found your channel, now I have Star Wars Legion and 40k. Oh, very nice. Happy to rope you in. Pete says, I think you should mount Grimball onto one of those tentacles. I wonder if he'd fit, even just through his legs. Where's Grimball? Oh, I think he's in my army case. Yeah, he's not up here, because I was absolutely annihilating people with him. It's a beast. Yes, well, it's about the only horse he's going to get. This one would be appropriate, wouldn't it? This would be a good little, Mount Grimbold on the Serpent. I should do like a conversion series. All the things that Grimbold can be mounted on that aren't horses. I like it. I like it. Big German name. I love that. It says something along the lines of your ad here, for those wondering. How close was I in the pronunciation? Charlie says, I see tentacles. James spies an open paint lid. Yeah, the brand new shade. The lid is shut now, thank goodness. Lockie's asked to the world, says Tom. Yeah, why not? Makes the stream so much more exciting when my paints are open. Was that massive Moria board you described on a stream before? Yeah, no, we made a big Moria board on the stream. It's like the last Moria ones. It wasn't that crazy thing we just saw. Oh, awesome! Pete found it. So the Sculpted Watcher appears to be a part of the UK White Dwarf 282. Now I reckon in the Australian White Dwarf it was later than that. Do I even have my White Dwarfs here? Can we find this? No, I think my White Dwarfs are in the storage unit. I tell you what, I will try to endeavour to find that mag for the next stream, because it will be fun to look at. Very fun to look at. Alright, we got one more decision to make, and that is whether or not we're doing another shade on the skin tone of the inside. And I think here, let's look at the Celia green shade that has dried. Which one was it? Must have been that one. I think it's needed. Yes, I think it's needed. This is a super simple scheme, really. Not particularly complicated at all. It was around the Eye of Terror release. Yeah, right. Okay. In that case, you might be right, 282. I have a feeling, maybe, because I've seen it, right, and I know that I don't own White Dwarf 282. Maybe it just got shown later down in Australia, because they did that. But often, the Lord of the Rings section in each book was the same. So I would have thought that would have stayed consistent. Whereas the other parts of White Dwarf, at that time, they were actually locally done. So there was like White Dwarf Australia, White Dwarf whatever. I was having a Skype call with Adam Troke at one point, and we were sort of talking about video ideas and stuff for some content. And I was like, yeah, I really want to do this campaign from White Dwarf back in the early 300s, and like told him all about this great campaign that every Australian White Dwarf reader knows, which is of course the Tandaris Outbreak. And he was like, yeah, I've never heard of that. Are you sure that was in White Dwarf? And I was like, yeah, man. And then he was like, oh, of course, you're Australia though, so you would have had Australian White Dwarf. And I was like, what? They weren't global? And he's like, no, they weren't back then. There was actually a team of people who did like the feature articles in each country. So there would be articles in every White Dwarf that were the same in each region. But so there's like this whole series of like articles that I have read that US and UK viewers wouldn't have, which is pretty cool. I think it was like there was an Australian team, an American-Canadian team, and a UK team. So there's like 3 different White Dwarves going around. So a timeline of endless Zorpazorp thumbs, yeah. Oh, right, James says, sorry, I mean the Moria board with all the passageways linking up the chambers and halls. Yeah, that Moria board is not getting made for like 10 years, James. I'll have to wait till I move to New Zealand, because I'm not moving that. It'll be about, when it's finished, that board will be 9 foot long by 5 foot wide and about probably 6 feet high with like layered dungeons. And it will need to all be like magnetized. Yeah. That needs to be like built into like a physical display setup. It's gonna be hardcore. Yeah. So I'll see if it's later. I'll see if it's later in our magazines. But I don't imagine they mixed up the Lord of the Ringsy stuff. Okay, the time has come, ladies and gentlemen. I really wish I could like. Is there a way I can like make a poll? No, I don't think I can ask a question because I just get you guys to spam the answer usually. Here, let me just check on the main chat console. No, okay. I cannot ask a poll. That's disappointing. It would be awesome if I could. Ladies and gentlemen, are we making terrain or are we playing a game? I think myself, I'm leaning towards Battle Report now. I was on the fence before, but would you like to jump into the Battle Report? Do you want to see these tentacles in action, or do we want to work a little bit more on expanding the Moria board? I'll show you the board we have already so that you can be fully informed in your decision. Let's see if I can do this without totally ruining the whole studio. There is our board already. So we've got a gate and we've got a gangway that we can say is covered in water. So we can easily repurpose that, right? Here, I'll open up. It's a bit underexposed. That is easily going to work. But we could expand that a little if we wanted. And you know, like make a lake and do some water effects. We wouldn't be able to do the water effects today, though. I'd probably do them off camera and just show you guys. But so, I mean, essentially it's going to be like working with base-ready products. And maybe a little bit of stonework and stuff. But I am more that... Okay, well, I think... Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Give us a peek at all your other shit too, says Tom. Wow, okay. It's fairly decisive. Kill the Hobbit, says Angus. Jazzy Payne says Battle Report. Thay2 says Battle Report. Fight, fight, fight. Battle. Stefan says Moria Terrain. Ezekiel says Battle Report. Jan says Battle Report. Mark says Battle Report. Tom and the wife vote Terrain. To war, terrain, battle report. It's not too close. It's not too close. Yeah. But oh, Ezekiel's counting it. There we go. Yeah. The Bat Rep has it by a country mile. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm gonna do. You know what? I don't actually think we need to turn the camera off today because the board is so small. There's nothing to reset, so we can just hang and chat while I just put my paints away. So, you guys in the chat, I'm going to need some people to join Team Evil. I'm going to need some people to join the Fellowship. Who wants to be in charge of Sam? We've got, you know, Merry, Pippin, Frodo, Gandalf, Aragorn, Gimli, and Boromir. The full collection of players today. So we're going to be able to to get on board. So if you guys want to be Team Good, Team Evil, you're going to be able to scream stuff at me in the chat. Ooh, my paint drawer is full. I'm going to have to start putting stuff in the second drawer. Alright, here we go. Paints need to be washed up. Here, let's wash up my dry brush, which I always forget to do, and then it gets trashed. Tommy Marshall says, we've got Gimli the cat. Oh, one of my other mates named his cat Gimli as well. Mr. Tommy Hampson from Fail Charge Games. Extend the board, says Sonia. You're outnumbered, Sonia, I'm afraid. I think we've voted, and battle reports have been decided. But it's going to be a good battle report anyway, and that means I don't have to accidentally spill resin all over the carpet, which is probably a good outcome. I'm on board with that. Alright. Palette away. Best of White Dwarf away. So we're going to have to modify the scenario a little. Oh, one sneaky paint escaped. Look at this. You get to see behind the curtain today. This is what happens when I go to the holding screen. Usually everything gets all packed up. We're going to have to somehow get a good angle on that gate. Alright, I'm just going to move the mic. Sorry if that made any clunky sounds. And let's get this bad boy up nice and tall. Look at this, right behind the curtain. Not seeing, there's no glamour here. Alright. Let's pan down to our little Moria board. We'll come out a bit as well. There we go, that's going to be a good spot for us. Alright, so, this is going to be nice. A nice small contained board. We're going to have room for the scenario. We can have all the rules within eyesight. This is going to be perfect. We're going to need our tentacles. We're just going to, in before the tentacles fall over 50,000 times this game, but that's fine. We'll have all the tentacles here, but if any of them start misbehaving, we'll swap them in for the empty ones. Because some of them are a bit more precarious than others. So there are 8 tentacles in play at the beginning of the game. We're obviously going to need some Fellowship heroes, which I'll dig out in a sec. And let's have a read through the scenario. I'll bring my mic back. Just make sure you guys can hear me. Oh, I need to swing a battery as well before we start bat repping. Alright everybody, pump that techno, prepare for a rave. Deuce, 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 deuce. Alright, and we're back. Oh, I didn't even give you a rave. The screen just went black. That's boring. Usually it gives you a nice, spectacular rave when I change the camera battery. Alright. Oh, we had a different White Dwarf in France as well, says Diva. That's interesting. Chaos says, I'll take Ugluck in the Hedge. Not featuring in this game, unfortunately. Let's have a look at today's scenario. Might throw this over here. The Watcher in the water. We have the Fellowship, we have the Watcher. So the battlefield is supposed to be a 2x2 board. Where there's like, you can see here, here's one I prepared earlier. It's supposed to be a 2x2 board, right? So our board is a bit smaller, it's only 1x2. So we're going to need to kind of modify that. So, we need to decide what edges the Fellowship can be dragged off. We could perhaps... The interesting thing is, the playable space of the scenario is really just the center of the board. So we could make it that the Fellowship have to be dragged off this edge, and then that space is about the same distance. There needs to be deep water and shallow water, so we can say that this section here is deep water back, and I believe all of the tentacles begin deployed in the deep water. Or all of them bar one. One of them starts in base contact with Frodo, so we'll chuck that one up there. Beautiful, there's all our other tentacles. It's actually kind of easy to make it stand up because the ground's so uneven I can balance them. Starting positions, Aragorn, Legolas, Boromir and Gimli deploy within the west gate, the far corner of the board. So let's get ourselves some Fellowship. We need Legolas with his blades out from the arm on hand. We need more of the other characters. Where's my goddamn Fellowship? This is why I do this off camera. Oh no, Let's use this leggy, actually. I've got 2 Legolas's and no one else. It's a good start. It's a good start. Oh, here they are. I need some hobbits. Here, I'll get this big-ass dragon. If we were using the Watcher, our dragon could come to play. That's the dragon that my display board is built from. Aha! I found them all. Right. There's Boromir, there's Gimli. Boromir, Gimli. Gandalf should be back here somewhere. Should being the operative. This is bizarre. Oh, there's Aragorn over there. What's he doing over there? Aragorn is even based appropriately, ready to go. Alright, I've got 4 of 9 Fellowship members. Have I taken the Fellowship on a scenario recently or something? I don't think so. There's my other Aragorn. Aha, there's Pippin. Gandalf has literally disappeared off the face of the earth. There's Aragorn, there's lurks. We've got Bilbo. Gandalf the Grey. Well, we have a Gandalf the White. Aha! Gandalf! Frodo! Right, here they all are. Okay. 1, 2, 3. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who are we missing? We've got Gimli, we've got Legolas, we've got Aragorn, we've got Boromir, we've got Gandalf. We're missing 1 Hobbit. Oh, that's because he is in my army case, because it's Merry, and he's in with my Rohan at the moment. Alright, Merry, you're getting proxied by somebody. Merry, you are going to be... I don't know any other halfling models. Merry's going to be a Moria Goblin. Why not? Alright, so, we have got all 9-ish members of the Fellowship. There we go. They're all disappearing currently. Who would win between the Fellowship and a minimum points dragon? The Fellowship, easy. They'd slay a dragon. But that'd be a fun game, actually. Sorry, dragon, you need to go back in the case now. Thank you for your time. Alright. So, in Merry and Pippin's stead... Oh no, it's Sam and Pippin. We've got Bilbo. Bilbo's joining us today, and a Moria Goblin, but that's fine. This is what happens when you see behind the curtain. So, we've got our 8 tentacles. The tentacles have some pretty cool special rules. So, if a tentacle wins a fight, it may choose to either strike as normal or ensnare the victim. An ensnared model is placed in base contact with the tentacle and must move with the tentacle until it is set free or the tentacle drops it, which it can do voluntarily. If there are multiple tentacles involved in a fight, only one of them can pick it up, and you can only take 1 model at a time. An ensnared good model may only be killed when may only be freed when the tentacle is killed. And the ensnared model may do nothing at all. They can't use might or anything. If the tentacle is killed, it drops the model, and then once dropped, the good side is placed on its side and starts on the side, and then the tentacle is automatically placed at either of the water edges, which is pretty gnarly. And then it moves the next phase. A tentacle that is brought back in this way may not move into the next phase. Keep a record of how many tentacles we kill. So you guys are going to have to keep track of the tentacle kills for me. So the game wins if Frodo can escape off this board edge through the gate and off the corner. The evil win if they can get Frodo off this board edge. And if the good side manages to destroy 20 models, the game's automatically over and good free. So this is deep water. And then, do we have shallow water as well? I think we have shallow water. The battlefield should have. I think the shallow water doesn't do anything to us. Whenever a good model tries to move through water, it must test on the following table to see whether or not it is hindered. Make a single roll for shallow water. Oh, when in deep water, roll 2 dice and use the lowest. Legolas always gets a +1. Due to his elven agility, but Sam always gets a -1 because he can't swim. Oh, this is awesome. On a 1, they roll a d6. On a 1, they can't move. On a 2 to a 5, they move half, and on 6, they move full. That is such cool rules. So let's deploy. Our 3 hunters, Boromir and Gandalf, all deploy up in the back corner, like right up the back here. 1, 2, 3. They've rushed in and sort of eager to get inside. The doors are open. Merry and Pippin Frodo is ensnared here with one, and then the 3 hobbits are there. Now, there is a house rule that we have been recommended to use by Damien from Battle Streams. He says that you should not allow evil to call a heroic move first turn and give evil priority. Otherwise, they're in big trouble. Horace says this is heresy. Kieran says, sorry Horace, I don't trust your claims of heresy. Alright, this is gonna be pretty awesome, I think. So, let's get some dice, let's get a tape measure, and let's get cracking. Here comes the big box of stuff, and my big box of dice. We're gonna need our prone markers today, because if we use a... Oh, what's the movement of a tentacle? Watcher's tentacle. Does it have a move though? 6 inches. Okay. Oh wow, they're fight 4. Fight 4, strength 2, defense 5, 1 wound, courage 8. I suppose Gandalf does have magic, doesn't he? I don't remember the magical powers Gandalf has access to. Let's grab a few dice out. And I think the Watchers, the tentacles can be the Saruman dice today. I think that will be quite fitting. I'll get a dice box for us. Which I swear I found just the other day, but that's fine. Dice box. I think that's it. We got everything? We've got everything. Alright, so you guys need to be in charge of keeping track of the tentacles for me. Oh, Gandalf's magical powers. That's what I was doing. I need this book here. So Gandalf has some unique magical powers because, of course, we're playing retro. So this is the old rules. Now, which magazine is it that we went through the magical powers? I believe it was Saruman, maybe. Gotta make sure we get all... Because Gandalf might have terrifying aura, so the courage may actually matter, but they'll auto-pass with no neg 1. But Gandalf's magic could be really key here, because we're going to need to be compelling, we're going to need to be keeping our hobbits alive. I believe it's this one. So we need to, using Gandalf's magic could be really useful for blasting back the tentacles with Compel. Sorceress Blast might be an option for just sort of clearing the board. Here we go. Alright, magical powers. So, while wizards may not have powerful characteristics, we're going to chuck these up here. So we don't need Cast Light. It's probably just going to be Compel. And I can't remember which one Gandalf has. I think, did all of them have all of them? Or does it specifically outline? We shall have to wait and see. Gandalf has the following magical powers: Sorceress Blast, Immobilize, Command, and Terrifying Aura. Basically what he has now. So, evil goes for priority first turn. Frodo has been absolutely grabbed and taken off the board, so he's got a 6-inch move, and he is going to whiz on down and fire away. So the tentacles, basically, they need to get Frodo off the board. Jeez, that is a tall order for the tentacles. Well, I think Frodo might be starting too close, so he should be over 1.5 feet away. So yeah, Frodo should be here. So they're going to grab Frodo and they move full speed when they're carrying him. Once tentacle was killed, I think they move full speed. Jeez. These guys are going to be in pretty serious trouble here. We're going to run Frodo down. Frodo was like 2 turns off getting caught. Obviously, they've got no, these tentacles have no might points. But what they can do is just set up a screen to try and protect Frodo, and or protect the tentacle that has Frodo, to stop the good heroes from getting to him. So they're all just going to sprint straight up for the middle. Alright, boys and girls, what are we doing with our hobbits? What are we doing with Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli? We've got to get some cool plays here. A big play for us is that we could use Gandalf to cast Command, and like throw Aragorn up and then set up a heroic combat to try and get in Chachim. We've got, hey, Broadsword Wargaming. Yeah, it's Attack of the Squids today. I think we're just going to send the hobbits in bravely, because we don't care at all if these die. So let's just go... They're not actually going to be able to get in range, so we'll get the hobbits in the way. Boromir is just going to move full. Ready to charge next turn. I suppose Legolas could do some shots, so Legolas is going to shoot 3 times. Gimli will move and come out from behind the gate. Aragorn is going to move full into here. And then Gandalf is going to move. And our last decision this turn is what we do with Gandalf. Squid Boys. Pippin charge. Pippin could only reach this one. So Pippin's going to charge 1 tentacle. We've got Legolas taking shots. Yeah, Leggy's going to take 3 shots. He can probably hit these 2 tentacles here. We can probably start to zoom in a little bit now so you guys can see. And then our big play is what to do with magic with Gandalf. So, Aragorn is in range of this guy, right? If we compel this tentacle into Aragorn, he will be able to call a heroic combat and then hopefully get to Frodo. So that's certainly one option for us. Blast with Gandalf. James wants us to go Sorceress Blast. Tom Marshall wants Gimli to go carve some sushi. Yeah, next turn it's going to be a big charge for the Fellowship. I think... Alright, we've got Sorceress Blast on the cards. So I don't think Gandalf will be able to target this blasting the one that that this model has. But he'll be able to blast the ones that are in the way. So let's look at the old Sorceress Blast. It's cast on a 5+. A single model is targeted and... There's no in the way models. They take a strength 8 hit and a knock to the ground. Well, it's not as good as it used to be. So strength 8 on defense 5. That will be 3s to wound. He needs a 5 to cast. Let's use 1 from the store and 1 free. Whoop. It's a 2. A 2 on the free dice. And from the store, a 5. He cast it. So that tentacle takes a strength 8 hit. On a 3, he will fall. And it's a big 6. Gandalf blasts the tentacle. Which just gets redeployed on the edge of the board next turn. So that is going to be pretty gnarly. So let's do shooting now. Legolas has got 3 shots. He's going to drop all 3 into... he now has in the ways, unfortunately. Let's probably shoot at this tentacle here without any in the ways. He's shooting back from behind. You guys won't be able to see. And he's got 2 hits and a miss. And strength 3, defense 5. He'll need 5s to wound. And he gets... It was a 6. And then I got knocked over as I threw it into the models and they overbalanced. So that is another tentacle sniped by Legolas, and he will be moved back onto the edge of the board. Let's go, the zoom suits my soul. Well, let's blast some baddies, says Ollie. Alright, let's jump into combat. We've got one fight. It is Merry versus the evil tentacles. This is going to be. I'm concerned for Merry. How do you guys feel? Oh, Merry clutches it on a 2. The tentacle rolls a 1. He's only strength 2, I think. Yeah, he is. So he will need 6s to wound the big tentacle, and he rolls a 1. So he just backs the tentacle away, and we're into priority. So this is basically, does this cost Aragorn might points? Is what this priority means. And no, it doesn't. So Aragorn can make a big charge. Tentacles don't have any might, so they can't call any heroic moves. He can charge the tentacle pinning Aragorn. And then all the other models can charge... Oh, actually, you know what? That's deep water. So Aragorn's going to enter deep water, and he has to roll... It's only shallow to there, so Aragorn's got to roll on the swim chart, and he rolls a 6! What a clutch from Aragorn. So he can make the charge on the tentacles. Let's just throw all the hobbits in. The hobbits can gang up on 1. So Merry, Sam, and Pippin on 1. Boromir on 1. Gimli on 1. Legolas is going to half move to provide cover fire for the tentacles going to be running up. And then Gandalf's going to take a swim test as well. Oh, he rolls a 6 too. Well, he'll just jump in on the same tentacle to make sure that that tentacle dies. That is crazy. Crazy town. Let's go into Leggy's shooting first. Oh, the other tentacles will get to run. So they can move full in the water. Oh, the smart thing to do would be to stop Legolas from shooting. So they're gonna go like that to create in the way. So Leggy won't get to shoot this turn. I have no concerns for Merry, for he is a traitorous goblin, says Sammy Cynthia. Kieran says, is there throw rocks? There absolutely is. Charlie says, my arm is going to start singing an octao with the other 8 arms of tentacles. Alright. Let's start with... Are we going to call any heroic combats, guys? People who are in charge of the Fellowship. What do we want to do? Any heroic combats? We could call one with Aragorn and Gandalf, but of course Frodo will then just get left behind. But maybe we could, like, hurl them in. Oh, I suppose Gandalf should have cast Terrifying Aura as well. Oh, shoot. What does that need to be cast on? A 2. So Gandalf now causes terror. I love Aragorn. He cares not for deep water. So Gimli's calling a heroic combat, says Tommy Marshall. So that's 1 point of might spent with Gimli. I reckon let's call one with Boromir as well. Let's just burn the might. Lifeguard Leroy has joined us. So we'll start with that. Let's start with Boromir's. He's down to 5 points of might now. He has 3 attacks. And the Tentacle has a whopping 1 attack. And the Tentacle gets it on a 3. No, Boromir gets it on a 5, even though he rolled Snake Eyes. And he will need Strength 4 and 5, a single 5. And he rinses his first Tentacle. And he will now make a move. We're going to set up, ladies and gentlemen, what we love to call here the Heroic Combat Slingshot. He is going to jump in and join Gimli's Heroic Combat. The Heroic Combat Waterfall. Should get my tactics right. And now Gimli's combat will go off. He's just got 2 attacks in this edition. And he is fighting a single Tentacle. This one was the riskier one. Oh, it's paid off. Gimli comes in strong with a 6. He's Strength 4, so only needing 5s as well. Oh, he's only rolled 4 high. Only rolled 4 high. So do we spend another of Gimli's might points to set off the heroic combat? I'll let you guys decide that. Meanwhile, the 3 hobbits are all fighting in and of themselves. Merry, Pip, and Sam first. Sam has got it on a big 5, and... Oh, the Tentacle rolls a 6! So how does it work? If a Tentacle wins a fight, it may either choose to strike as normal or ensnare a victim. Alright, Sam... We're going to leave Sam because he doesn't swim. I think we're going to ensnare... Let's ensnare Merry the Goblin. Merry the Goblin has been ensnared, and Sam and Pippin will both back away into deep water, I might add, too. I'll throw them a life ring. I'm not going in, says Leroy. Alright, now we've got the big one. Aragorn and Gandalf. 3 attacks for Aragorn, 3 attacks for Gandalf. If they get a 6, they win the fight. They do not get a 6. Let's see if the Tentacle can make them spend some might. No, he gets a big 3. It goes to the wonderful members of the Fellowship, and they slice the Tentacle and dice him. So, Aragorn and Gimli and Frodo are all out of combat, and Frodo is free. So, are we spending the might point? Gimli says, use the might point. Alright, so Gimli's might point is spent. That Tentacle is dead as well. How many Tentacles have we killed now? 5. You guys have got to keep track of that, remember? And now Gimli will have to charge into this Tentacle, because the other, Sam was in the way of the other one. So Gimli fighting 1. Oh, they both roll 6s. Gimli wins it on fight value, luckily for the poor dwarf. And then he kills the Tentacle. 6 Tentacles dead. I'm going to record this with dice, because I'm going to forget, I think. 6 Tentacles are dead. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. But we have Pippin ensnared. Let's do priority. It goes to the Fellowship again. Poor Tentacles can't get a break here. So everyone, there's like 5 members starting in water. Let's start with Gandalf. He rolls a 5, so he gets the half move. So he'll just charge this 1 Tentacle here, and then he'll just Sorceress Blast the one up the back. We'll throw a store and a free again. Ooh, he gets it on a 6, needing a 3. That's 2 from 2. 2 Sorceress Blasts get killed. That takes them to 7 dead Tentacles. Jeez, they're making short work of the Tentacles. Aragorn will make a charge. He starts in water though, and he's rolled a 3, so he can only half move, but it's enough to get in combat. Frodo's in water. He's rolled a 4, so he can only move 2 inches. but he moves 2 inches to the back, which is important. Sam is in deep water at -1, and he can only half move. So he is just going to climb back out of the water and jump in combat there to save Merry. Gimli will do the same. Boromir is going to enter the water. Oh, no, he's not. He's going to stay still. So I presume he would do that at the start of the water there. And then Pippin is the last one in the water, and he can only half move. So he climbs out of the water, and Legolas will half move to provide cover fire. Oh, interestingly enough, Boromir has put himself in range of the tentacles. He may regret that. 3 tentacles jumping in range, and now in combat with Boromir. And another one could get in combat with Aragorn. And then this tentacle was killed this turn, so he comes in the next move phase. So let's look at combat. I think Legolas has got no targets to shoot at now, so it's going to be all about the combat. Any heroic combats, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat? Boromir is in a little bit of trouble. He could use some help, I think. The tentacles just keep coming back to life. But once 20 of them have been killed, the game automatically ends. There's someone knocking on my door. Let's see who that might be. Hello, little monkey. Tea. Have you made me a cup of tea? Oh, thank you. And a bicky. Mummy will have to bring it to me. Okay. Alright, Okay, I'm coming. I have to go get my cup of tea that Hazel has made. In the meantime, here is a nice close-up of some tentacles. Let's go, monkey. Where's my cup of tea? Alright, I'm back. Every morning, Hazel makes me a cup of tea and a bicky, and then she comes and tells me, and I have to go down to the kitchen where she points at it. And if we break the routine, all hell breaks loose. So, sorry about that. Alright, cup of tea acquired. So, heroic combats. Lockie has trained monkeys. I have to make me a cup of tea. Oh!
Can you just assure the people on the internet that she doesn't handle
Oh, yeah.
water?
No, she doesn't actually make the tea. Larissa just wants me to clarify. As she is 18 months old, she doesn't handle boiling water, so there's no need to call the Department of Child Services. Larissa makes the tea while Hazel watches and claims all the credit for making the tea, is what actually happens. Oh, Boromir's horn! Of course, I forgot about the horn of Boromir. Does he even have that special rule this early? I don't think he does. Is Gimli in range of Sean Bean? Gimli absolutely is. So I think we'll go for Gimli's last might point, because he's in combat with Pippin and Sam, and we'll try and call a heroic combat there to save Boromir. So let's do that. So Gimli's got 2 dice. I've probably got my cup of tea in the way now. I'll move that over there. Gimli's got 2 dice, and then the hobbits have 2 dice, and then the tentacle has 1 dice. Oh no, sorry, Merry has been picked up, so he doesn't have dice. There we go. Oh, it's a big 6. It's a big 6, and it is for Sam has done the work there. Good work, Sam. And they will need a 5s and 6s. Oh, no luck. Alright, that's Gimli's last might point spent. And Merry is still being captured at this point in time. Let's do Boromir then. 3 tentacles versus 1 Boromir. This could be really bad, hey? It is really bad. So Boromir has lost the fight by 1 point. So Boromir will have to spend a point of might and then win the fight on fight value. So Boromir is down to 2. He's got 4 points of might left. And for vengeance, he murders 2 tentacles who will come back next phase. Yeah, right. Because like, if Boromir gets carried off the board, it's not good. We don't want that. Alright, Aragorn fighting 2. Aragorn's got 3 attacks, and the tentacles have 2. Oh, he gets it. Aragorn gets it on a 6, and he will need 5s, and he fails to wound either of his tentacles. Yeah, I think we'll save his might points for heroic moves. Oh, he's got a free point. He'll use his free point this turn because he hasn't spent it yet. So he kills one, and one backs away. And then Gandalf v Tentacle. This one could be risky, actually. Gandalf's just got the one dice. Yeah, Gandalf's gone down. So Gandalf will have to spend a might point to win the fight. And then he fails to kill the Tentacle. Frodo is getting closer to the board edge. Let's jump into priority. Evil loses again. Priority has gone to good every roll so far. Let's do Aragorn. Aragorn's going to charge 1. Boromir's going to charge 1. They're just going to keep tying up the tentacles. Gandalf is going to do another Sorceress Blast. Fails this time. 3 points of will left, and then he's just going to charge. Oh, actually, all of them needed to do swim tests. As they land. So Gandalf actually won't be doing anything. He won't be moving. But the other two make their charges. Frodo, swim test. He rolls a 2, so he's still in shallow water. Gimli and Sam and Pippin are this time all going to charge the tentacle holding thingo. And Legolas has just like not been able to do anything because of shooting. I think Legolas is going to half move over here and just cover this flank to disincentivize tentacles from running up that flank. So the tentacles move. They've got 4 left. Oh, guys, how many tentacles just got killed that turn? I think I lost count. So we've killed 7. I think we're up to 9. 6 and 3 makes 9. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. We're going to chuck another 2 tentacles on Boromir. And then we'll chuck 2 tentacles on Aragorn. We're just trying to, like, basically chip away at the resources of Aragorn and Boromir, because they're really the big problem. Frodo is just, like, so far away. I guess the other thing we could do is... Oh, you know what's crazy? Oh! This tentacle's free because Gandalf rolled a 1, which means he can skirt Gandalf's control zone and fight Frodo. Frodo's not out of here yet. That's good. That's going to hopefully tie up Frodo for another turn. We probably should have thought of that. Let's jump into heroics. What are we doing, guys? So, yeah, 9. Okay, great. We're on 9. Let's do... What's our next move here? I'm going to zoom... Yeah, you guys are still zoomed in. Nice. Who do we want to call heroics with? I think we need to try and call a heroic combat here. I don't think Merry and Pippin have any might. So, but it's Sam. Does Sam have might? So Sam has 1 might. So maybe we spend Sam's 1 point of might. Just going to have some bicky. And that way we can try and get a heroic combat over into Frodo. I think so. So Sam and Gimli are now out of might. Let's do it. That heroic combat first. We're going to start with the tentacle. He rolls a big 2. Big 2. The 2 hobbits. They only roll 3s, but it's enough. Gimli's coming in with the strength 4. And he wounds him. So the heroic combat goes off. Now, as each of them enter water, they will need to take a test. Let's do Gimli first. He's going to take his swim test, and he can only half move. So, once he has moved 2 inches to get into the water, he only has 3 inches left, which is 1.5 inches halved. So he actually can't get to the tentacle this turn. Merry will be able to, though. Oh, Merry rolls a big 6. So Merry's now in with Frodo. And then Pippin. Pippin rolls a big 6 as well. So the 3 hobbits are now fighting a tentacle, but Gimli couldn't make it. Oh, actually, Merry would have been prone, sorry, and not in combat. So that roll should have been for Sam. Alrighty-roo. Alright, let's do our other combats. Boromir fighting 3 tentacles. The tentacles have... Oh no, it's going to Boromir on a tie. He's clutched it. Eating 5s. Oh, 1s and 2s. Thank goodness that wasn't his dual roll. The 3 tentacles survive. Alright, same thing again. Aragorn fighting 3. And it's tied on fight value again. Aragorn gets it. And he rolls 2 wounds. Hey, Boromir, this is how you kill tentacles, buddy. That takes us up to 11, 12 dead tentacles. And now the important one, the 3 hobbits. Fraudor bargains. How many attacks has Frodo got? Just the 1. So it's 1 attack for each hobbit. The other 2 hobbits are the same now because only Frodo has might. And they've only got 3 high! Come on, Tentacle! This is your moment. This is the moment that keeps Tentacles in the game. Oh, and he rolled a 1. What a choke, Tentacle. And now the other hobbits get a chance to wound the Tentacle. And they don't kill him because they need 6s. Frodo is strength 3s. He needs 5s. I don't actually think that Tentacle is trapped. He can back away. So Tentacle survives. So, not as productive a turn as it could have been for the Fellowship. The Tentacles are in the game, but they managed to keep Frodo untentacled. Let's do priority. Evil really need a priority here. There you go. They finally win it, and Aragorn will have to call a heroic move. The danger of calling the heroic move with Aragorn, though, is that Frodo is, Frodo's move is a problem. So, Aragorn will move first. Then Boromir. Whoops. Then Gandalf is going to Sorceress Blast a Tentacle. He hits. He wounds! Another Tentacle goes down. That one won't join us till next turn. And then, also I forgot swim tests again. Boromir and Aragorn. Yep, they're fine. Gandalf. He's fine this turn. He's going to jump in with Aragorn with his half move. So now Frodo still has to stay within 6 inches. So he's got a swim test. Let's do Frodo first. He rolls a 4, so that's enough for him to hop out of the water and then stay within 6 of Aragorn. Gimli is going to charge. He'll take a swim test. Yes. Sam is going to charge at -1. Oh, Sam's not moving because he can't swim. And Merry and Pippin are just going to swim test for Merry. Oh, 2 6s in a row for Merry. Oh, it's Pippin actually. They're just going to guard Frodo with their life, and Legolas rather, is just going to half move. Legolas literally hasn't done anything all game because the Tentacles have not come near. He's like the final defense. Alright. 12 dead Tentacles. 3 new Tentacles joining the fray. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty easy for the Fellowship. Is anyone opposed to me adding in a few more Tentacles? I think Fellowship need the help. I think the Tentacles need the help. Alright. Let's do it. Let's chuck in a few more. Who's in range? Gandalf and Boromir are in range, but no one's getting to Aragorn. What are we going to do here? I think I'm going to make a move. I'm going to run at Legolas with 1 tentacle. And I'm going to send 3 tentacles on Boromir. And then I'm going to peel off Gandalf. I think Gandalf's a good victim. More tentacles, says the stream. Alright, every tentacle we now have is on the board. Gandalf has found himself fighting 4 tentacles. Boromir is fighting 3 and Aragorn is fighting 1. So Aragorn's going to have to run to Gandalf's help, I think. So Aragorn will spend his free point of might. No, a normal point of might. So he's down to 2 now to call a heroic combat. Boromir can't do anything. Gimli's out of might. And Sam is stuck swimming. So yeah, that's basically it. All of those tentacles should have had to take courage checks because Gandalf cast Terrifying Aura. But of course, they're courage 8. They don't care at all. So let's go. Let's do Aragorn's heroic combat first. This is an important one. This is a really important one for Aragorn to win. If the tentacle can somehow clutch this, let's see what Aragorn does to start us off. He's on 6s. What a clutch. Alright, 5s to wound. And he gets it. So he kills 1 tentacle. That takes us to 13 dead tentacles. And now Aragorn will run around and peel 2 tentacles off Gandalf. So Gandalf's only fighting 2 now. Let's do Boromir versus 3 tentacles. And it's a big 6 on either side! The tentacles lose again on fight value. The amount of times they've tied the fight with these big heroes, and then Boromir kills 2. That takes us to 15 dead tentacles. Yeah, the Fellowship might have this, I think. Let's do Gandalf versus 2 tentacles. Oops. What do we want? That dice. Only 1 dice for Gandalf the Grey. Ooh, and it's cost him. Gandalf will have to use his last 2 points of might to tie the fight and win it on fight value. And then just 1 attack. Fails to wound. So Gandalf is now out of might. Boromir's on 4. Aragorn's on 2. Gimli's out. Sam's out. So, you know, they've suckered some resources, but not a great deal. Aragorn fighting 2. The tentacles need this. Sucker some might points from the heroes. No, it's a tie on fight value again. And Aragorn goes wham! Fails to kill him. And I don't think he'll bother spending the might. Oh, Gimli versus 1. I forgot about Gimli. Gimli rolls a massive 6, but doesn't wound the tentacle. Legolas fighting 1. Leggy's got 2 attacks as well. Legolas gets a 6. He's goddamn Fellowship, and Legolas kills a tentacle. Okay. So that takes us to 16 tentacles dead. 4 more and the game automatically wins. Let's do priority. It goes to evil. So, once again... We have to... Okay, I'm going to throw this one to you guys. If Aragorn calls a heroic move, Frodo isn't going to be able to run away as quickly. But if he doesn't call a heroic move, he's probably going to end up getting charged by a tentacle. Or, actually, no, he won't, but all the other tentacles will be able to swarm the heroes again. Should we call the heroic move and slow Frodo down, or should we just go for the long Frodo objective? I'll let you guys decide that one. It is Tentacle Frenzy. All tentacles are charging in now. Pippin has turned evil and wants to throw rocks into combat. Alright, so we're going for... the long Frodo. Aragorn can handle the swarm. Swarm, slow. Okay, we're getting... so they're saying no heroic combat. So let's go... Frodo's going to move 4 inches. No, evil moves first. What am I talking about? So, all tentacles are jumping on everyone. We're just going to tie up Gimli and Sam with 1 to stop their counter charge. And we'll tie up Legolas with 1. Oh, you know what? Let's do it like that. On the off chance we managed to get one of those guys. Gandalf is going to get charged. We'll pin Aragorn with that one, I think. So I think what we've got to do is we've got to try and get like 1 or 2 of these heroes this turn. So we've now got 4 on Aragorn, so he can't heroic combat. And we've now got 3 on Gandalf, and we'll go 2 on Boromir. Hopefully that prevents Boromir from calling a heroic combat, which he's obviously going to do. Gandalf can't, and Aragorn's not going to be able to kill all his models. So, first call is Boromir calls a heroic combat. And of course the 3 hobbits are now just... Frodo's just going to run... and these hobbits will jump in with Legolas. We're going to do another heroic combat waterfall here, guys. Sam is going to go for a swim. He nails it, and he will leap in with... oh, he can pull off one of Aragorn's now, actually. So that does help. So, Legolas is going to spend a point of might, and Boromir is going to spend a point of might. We'll start with Legolas's combat. Leggy has 2 attacks, and then the 2 hobbits. Let's see if they get the 6. They do not. They roll very low. A tentacle needs to roll a 4 here to sucker a might point, or a 5 to win. And he rolls a 5! So Legolas only has 1 point of might left. I think? No, Legolas has 3 points. What am I talking about? So Leggy will burn all his points of might to win the fight. And then they kill it. 17 dead tentacles. Oh, I've left 1 tentacle behind. We'll just pop you on Boromir. And now... Leggy is going to run down, pull off 2 of the tentacles, 1 from Boromir and 1 from Gandalf, and then the hobbits, he'll have to roll a thing as he enters the water. Oh no. Legolas has rolled a 1 as he enters the water, so he will hit the water and stop, not able to make the charges. That's problematic. Let's do the same for Merry. Merry's fine, he's just got enough move to save 1 from Boromir, and Pippin won't be able to reach anyone. Actually, he might be able to reach that one with Gandalf. Yes, he will. If Pippin rolls a 6, he rolls a 5, so he will hit it and stop. Wow, that changes things. Okay, Boromir's heroic combat, at least he's only fighting 2 now. Boromir fighting 2 tentacles. Boromir gets... Oh my goodness! Boromir's rolled a 1, a 1, and a 2, and the tentacles have rolled a 6. Even if he spends all 3 might points, he cannot beat that. So Boromir's picked up. Boromir just got picked up by a tentacle. He's cooked. He is picked up. Alright, Merry fighting 1 tentacle. Merry wins. Doesn't wound the tentacle though. He'll just back away and shimmy away. Let's go Sam fighting 1 tentacle. Tentacle wins. Sam's out of might. Sam gets picked up. Here we go. It's all happening. Gimli fighting 1 tentacle. The tentacle wins and Gimli rolls a 2 and a 1. Gimli gets picked up. Gimli, Boromir, and Sam have all been picked up in an ultimate clutch late play by the tentacles. Let's do Gandalf versus 2 tentacles now. No, Gandalf's still fighting 3 because the other hobbits didn't make it. Gandalf fighting 3. Oh, Gandalf clutches it. He rolls a big 6 on 1 dice to tie against the tentacle 6. And he's going to wound. Yes, he does. He slices a tentacle. 18 tentacles dead. 18 tentacles dead. Alright, Aragorn fighting 4 tentacles. I have to get extra dice out. That's how many tentacles are in this fight. Let's see what the tentacles do to make him work. They get only 4 high on 4 dice tentacles. What a missed opportunity. And Aragorn gets a 3! Oh my god, imagine if they'd rolled better. So Aragorn will use another point of might to take it to a 4 and win the fight. Jeez, that's a missed opportunity by the tentacles. Missed. Alright, wounds. And he wounds 1. 1 and Snake Eyes. 19 dead tentacles. The game is not over. Jeez, this is massive. Right, let's quickly run through what's happened. Boromir is picked up, carried by the tentacles. Sam is picked up and carried by tentacles. Gimli is picked up and carried by tentacles. Gandalf has no might. Legolas has 1 might. No, Legolas has no might. Aragorn has 1 might. So, if they wanted to call a heroic move, Aragorn's got his free and 1. Crikey. Alright, let's do priority. The evil need this to stay in, basically. And they get it. They get it. Okay, so Aragorn will have to call a heroic move again. So that's his free gone, and Frodo luckily is now out of range. You guys can't see, but he is now 1 turn away from the board in the back corner. So next turn, Frodo's off the board. So I mean, it's basically game over anyway, because Frodo's going to escape. But I think it's about how many Fellowship heroes can they drag off the edge of the board. So Aragorn will have to call a heroic move. He gets everybody. So someone is going to charge the tentacle-carrying Boromir. Someone is going to charge the tentacle-carrying Gimli. That's Pippin. Oh, these guys need to take swim tests. Merry. Oh no, Merry's stationary. Okay. It'll have to be Legolas who saves Boromir. Oh, Legolas rolls a 1 again! No. Oh, no. Legolas has +1. Legolas has +1. So he can half move. That's just enough move. Yes, but he also spent 1 for the heroic combat, James. So Leggy said, James says Leggy should have 1 might. I think he spent 2 to spend a 3 to a 5. That's correct, but he had called a heroic combat that turn, so that's where the 3rd might point comes from. Pippin rolls a 2, so he just gets there to save Gimli. Sam rolls a 2 with his -1. That's enough to charge 1 of these. Gandalf is going to cast a spell. He's just going to go all the rest of his magic on Sorceress Blast. He gets it off. 3s. He kills him. There we go, 20 tentacles. At the end of this game, end of this turn, the game is over. Let's see how many Fellowship heroes are picked up. And we'll charge that one. and then Aragorn will take a swim test, or Aragorn, sorry, Gimli's swim test, or Gandalf rather, and then Aragorn. So that's enough to charge those two. Now, interestingly enough, there is a tentacle free who is right up the back here and in range of Frodo. That might prove interesting at the end of next turn. Let's jump into combat. Oh, we're going to knock on the door. Hello. Can I help you, monkey? Are you going for a walk? Ah, you're going to see the duckies. You have fun, okay? You're going to take baby? It's a very pretty skirt, honey. Alright, you have fun with the duckies. Alright, so at the moment, the only options we have are Aragorn calling a heroic combat. He's the only one with might left on the table. I think we've got to do it. This is getting gnarly. You know the tentacles could bring this back. Oh, hang on. The tentacles still have a move phase where all of the tentacles come back. Yeah, right. Okay, let's throw another one on Aragorn. Let's throw two more on Gandalf. And then let's throw... Oh, this tentacle's free as well. Let's throw two... Yeah, we'll chuck him on Legolas. Okay, so Aragorn is probably not going to call a heroic combat now. It's basically impossible to get that off. Very unlikely. Let's do... Yes, I know technically they win at 20 dead, but we might just disregard that and keep playing to see what happens. So let's go... Let's go Pippin versus one tentacle. This is to save Gimli. Oh, the tentacle gets it. The tentacle doesn't pick up Pippin as well. The tentacle can't pick up Pippin because he's already carrying Gimli. So he just tried to wound him and that didn't work. Let's go Aragorn versus three tentacles. So it's 3 dice apiece on this fight. And the tentacles have a 6. Oh, and Aragorn only has 4s. So he called the heroic move, didn't he? Did he call the heroic move this turn? Yes, I think he did. Which means that he does not have enough might to equal that. Which means, ladies and gentlemen, that Aragorn is picked up. Aragorn is now being carried by a tentacle. Alright, Legolas. Legolas fighting 2. This is to save Boromir. Leggy gets it. He's going to save Boromir. He's going to strike at the tentacle, carrying Boromir, and he kills him. In fact, he kills them both. So that's 22 kills. Boromir is now free. He's back. Let's do Pippin. Pippin versus 1. Sorry, Merry versus 1. Merry wins. And Merry annihilates a tentacle. Yeah, this is better for the Fellowship. Who else has been carried? Someone else was getting carried. One of the hobbits it was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, maybe it was Sam, was it? Oh no, that was Sam, because Pippin... Oh yeah, I forgot. So Pippin got picked up. So Pippin's actually boom. Pippin's off the board. Pippin's been taken. Pippin the Moria Goblin is gone. Absolutely gone. So Sam just killed his goblin. Pippin has been sucked down into the vortex of the Watcher in the Water. And now we have one fight remaining. Gandalf with a single dice fighting 3 tentacles. The tentacles get it this time, and the wizard is picked up. Alright, let's look at the state of play, ladies and gentlemen. Gimli is being carried by a tentacle. Aragorn, carried by a tentacle. Gandalf, carried by a tentacle. Boromir is back. Legolas saved him. Leggy's in play, obviously, and Sam and Pippin are in play. Frodo is up the back. Now, technically, the Fellowship have won the moral victory because they've killed more than 20 tentacles. They're up to 23. But if we were to keep playing, Frodo is on the board edge. He gets off and he wins, but there is one tentacle, ladies and gentlemen, within 6 inches. If the tentacles win priority, he will get to make a charge. Potentially. Aragorn will have... Oh my god! Aragorn can't even call heroic combat, so it is happening. If the black dice is higher than the green, this game continues. It is! It's a 3! It's a 3! The tentacle makes a charge on Frodo, and inside the gates of Moria, Frodo thought he was safe. One extra long tentacle has slithered all the way up, and the game continues. So, there's no heroic moves available on the board. Oh, there is actually. There is Boromir. So Boromir will call a heroic move, but Boromir is out of range of the only model that could have snagged that tentacle. So, Boromir will still call his heroic move, I think. That takes him down to 2 points of might. And what he's going to do is run in like this. He's going to make a charge test, a swim test first. Yeah, he's fine. Legolas is going to make a swim test, and he gets a half move, and he's going to start legging it to help Frodo. I think I think Gandalf and... Oh, this is the problem. Gandalf's off the board if they don't stop him. Boromir's charged the one that Gandalf has. What about Sam? Sam has rolled a 1. He's not doing anything. Pippin? Pippin has rolled a 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, Aragorn is getting carried off the board this turn. Aragorn is gone. And now Gimli is 1 turn away from being sucked down into the Vortex of Doom himself. Let's swarm. These two are going to charge Pippin. I'll put 1 on Sam for the sake of it. And then all of these other tentacles are going to run in on Gandalf. Oh no, Gandalf is captured, so these tentacles can all get on Boromir. Here, this one will charge Legolas. It's 2 on Legolas. And then this one can run in on Boromir. So Boromir is valiantly trying to save Gandalf. Oh dear, things are not going well here. I think there might be enough tentacles on the board. Aragorn is gone. Yeah, Aragorn, soon to be Gandalf and Gonly. I like it, Tom. I like it. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay. Let's do Boromir first. Boromir fighting 3. This is the fight that keeps the Fellowship in. He rolls a 4 high. That is so beatable. That is so beatable. And they have rolled a 6. Boromir will spend all of his might remaining to win that fight, and then he is going to kill the one holding Gandalf. And he fails. Defense 5 coming through. Gandalf is still captured. That is bad news for the Fellowship. We now have Sam fighting 1. Sam's in trouble here. Oh, not when he rolls like that. Doesn't put a wound on though, but he keeps himself alive, and that's his job. That's all his job is right now. Let's do Pippin fighting 1. Pippin clutches it with a 6, another one to get a kill. No luck. And then Legolas fighting 2. Oh, they both tie on 6s. Leggy absolutely doing the business. And his elven knives are killing 1 as well. The big fight, ladies and gentlemen. Frodo versus the tentacle. Oh, the tentacle gets it on a 6. Frodo's been picked up on the board edge. As soon as we added these tentacles, things rapidly switched around to the Watcher in the Water. Let's do priority. And just to put the nail in the coffin, it goes to evil, and there are no models on the board that have might points left. Gonly. Gimli is out of there. Gandalf is out of there. And Frodo is running back towards. These guys are all going to get tied up. That is 4 members of the Fellowship dead. This is not good. And we're going to send a whole bunch of extra tentacles this way to go get Legolas next turn. Okay, we might nick off all the tentacles that are bases now. So we might revert back to the 8 tentacles we're supposed to be playing with to give the Fellowship a chance at recovering from this. Alright. Whew. Someone says, have we discussed Earl Grey with milk? I'm a man of culture, thank you very much. It's a beautiful combination. Oh, it's good. Good stuff. Okay. Frodo is captured, but no one else is currently. Legolas is going to fight 1 tentacle, and he's going to win on 5s, and he'll need a 5 to wound. He gets a 5. That is another dead tentacle. Boromir is fighting 2 tentacles. He gets the win, and he needs 5s. He gets 1-5. That takes us to 30 dead tentacles. These are important victories here. Our two big players left for keeping Frodo are Boromir and Legolas. Pippin fighting 1 tentacle. Sam and Pippin just need to stay alive. Oh, they tie. Oh no. Oh no. The tentacle wins on fight value. Even though they both get 6s, Pippin is picked up. Let's do the same for Sam. Sam wins on a 4. Doesn't wound him, but that doesn't matter. Sam's job is to stay alive and be a control zone, basically. Okay. This is a big priority. It goes to evil again. That means 2 tentacles leaping on Legolas. 1 tentacle on Boromir. 1 tentacle on Sam. Pippin is pulled down towards the board edge. And Frodo is pulled down towards the board edge. 2 more tentacles are going to sprint on in. We're going to try and get up here to help Frodo when we need to. No, we're going to jump on Boromir. What am I talking about? Alright. The combats continue. Legolas fighting 2. If he loses this roll, he will be captured. He wins the roll on double 6s. Legolas has been like the late game MVP. Doesn't get any wounds, unfortunately. Well, that's not the worst thing in the world. Boromir fighting 3. Once again, if he loses this roll, he is captured. And he gets it on a 5. Yes, Boromir and Legolas clutching for the Fellowship, still not managing to do any wounds. These guys are backing away. There is 1 fight left. Ah, shot it. And it's Sam. Sam loses on fight value and is picked up. Priority. Probably the second last turn of the game. And it goes to evil again. Pippin is pulled off the board. Frodo is 1 turn away. Pippin is 1 turn away. There are 3 tentacles on Boromir. 2 tentacles on Legolas. Frodo is soon to be dragged to his death unless these heroes can stay alive and then win priority next turn. 3 dice for Boromir. Oh, Boromir gets it on fight value just. He needs 5s. And he gets 2 of them! Eviscerating 2 tentacles. Freeing up his charge at Frodo's bearer. Legolas fighting 2 tentacles. He clutches another 6-on-6 win. Legolas has just been insane. And he fails to wound. But that's not the worst thing in the world because those 2 tentacles are stuck up the back away from Frodo. Ladies and gentlemen, evil had the roll they needed to save the game for them. And they won priority on a clutch roll. Will it happen for good or is Frodo off the board? Frodo is off the board. The One Ring is sucked into the depths. And unfortunately, the Fellowship of the Ring has failed. Let's see if the rest of the Fellowship survive this last turn. Sam will also be taken this turn. If any hero who gets picked up this turn, we're going to count as dead. So there will be... Well, you can probably throw another 2... We can probably put 4 tentacles on each hero here, actually. Because the other ones can leave Boromir's control zone, and the new ones can charge Boromir. So, 4 tentacles each. I think we're going to see a clean sweep of Fellowship heroes. Let's see what is happening against Legolas. They've got the 6. Leggy has 2 dice. He needs a 6. He has clutched this all game. Let's roll them one at a time. He's got a 4. He's got 1 dice left to get a 6, or he is sucked into the depths. He gets a 6! Legolas clutches again! Well, at least there'll be 1 member of the Fellowship to tell the tale of this harrowing journey. And he gets 2 kills just to spite them in his grief at seeing his companions sucked into the abyss. Let's go Boromir versus 4. Let's see what he's got to beat. Oh, they've only managed 2 high on 4 dice. Looks like Boromir's hanging around as well. 3 dice, and he gets 4s. And he's got 5s to wound. And he kills 1 as well. So there you go. Boromir and Legolas holding strong to go back to Elrond and be like, yeah, so, you know that 1 ring? Well, we decided not to destroy it. Instead, we thought we'd send it to, like, the depths of the world with the Watcher in the water. That's fine, right? Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Good times. Jeez, this was a fun game. So yeah, I reckon if you're playing this, you probably need more tentacles That is what I would say. Yeah. Let's do our post-game evaluation. I'll bring the camera down so you guys can see my face. Remember when I used to be like all professional with these streams and worry about like framing and stuff and like change the camera angle at the end of the battle report to talk to you all? Now I'm just like, look, I'm over here now. Alright. Did that work? Can you see me? Yep. That's worked well enough. Okay. So that was pretty gnarly. That was very gnarly. If we'd played the game by the original rules, the Fellowship would have won. Because Frodo would have got off the board. No, because we killed 20 tentacles. So that's definitely like, I think that needs to be raised. I think it probably needs to be 30 tentacles because the Fellowship just murdered them. What do you guys think in the chat? How should we change this for future iterations? Obviously the board size might have changed it a bit. We'll never really know that, I guess. Far out. There are 70 messages in a group chat that I'm going to have to look through after this. 72. Ollie and Ben, shut up. I think we would... I think that you need more tentacles, but then you also need the tentacle kill threshold to be higher. That's how you'd make it easier for the tentacles. This is definitely favored too much in the Fellowship. Like, in this scenario, you want to see a couple of the Fellowship members drown, and then, you know, obviously if you're playing this in a long-form campaign, they wouldn't actually die, but I think that'd be more fun. Otherwise, because, like, you know, all 9 were fine when Frodo was going to get off the board. But that was absolutely crazy. Tom Marshall says, play with the new full rules, but add 10 tentacles to the death count. That could be very fun. That could be very fun. Yeah, just keep it the same, but then add the actual Watcher in the water. When 20 tentacles get killed, instead of it being the end of the game, the Watcher comes down for a boss fight. That'd be pretty fun. We might have to redo this scenario. Would this be a fun battle report? Like a proper, you know, on like a 2x2 board, get a real Watcher in the water, absolutely like level it up. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun. Alright, cool. Well, that pretty much concludes it for today. We're going to do the giveaway next week. I haven't got a plan for next week. Obviously, we've got to paint up Gimli. Gimli is still owed from the Battle Games in Middle... Owed from... Technically, we just did episode 19, and episode 20 has Gimli, which we've skipped. But I don't think we'll do the battle report from 20, so we might paint Gimli... Or maybe we'll paint 2 things, or paint Gimli and something else and give them both away. And like make Gimli the painted model for this stream. Because there's no point giving away the tentacles because they only appear in this one scenario. And we, you know, the whole point of the Patreon giveaways is that they're, you know, models that you follow the journey of. So yeah, we'll sort that out. We'll do like some cool... We'll do Gimli. I don't think we'll do Moria. I think we'll move on and see what's next. Find something that works, or maybe just do a custom battle report. Do something cool. Do something Gimli themed that maybe isn't from the Fellowship's journey. Maybe like Gimli's later life or Gimli's early life. I don't know. We'll have a think. So let me know. I hope you guys are enjoying these live streams. They're great fun for me to do every fortnight morning. If you want to be in the draw to win Gimli and whatever the other minis are next week, make sure you... where's my giveaway wheel? It's over there. I can't show it to you. But if you want to be on the giveaway wheel of goodness, make sure you head over to Patreon and you can pledge as little as $1 to be on the wheel, and then you'll be in the draw for that, as well as, you know, supporting the channel. And if you do the $5 pledge, you get access to our community Discord, which has been going off, which is awesome. People have been writing me lists for tournaments, and we've been planning hobby projects and stuff. It's been really fun over there. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. I will see you in 2 weeks' time, and I will see you sooner than that here on the channel. We should have some cool videos out. We've got some 40k stuff coming up. If you guys haven't watched the Star Wars Battle Report we put out on Friday, please go and watch it, because it's a really good video, and it's doing really badly. But it is an awesome bat rep. It's easily the best Star Wars bat rep we've done, I reckon. It's really, really good. Really proud of it. So definitely go and check that out. And yeah, more 40k on the future. We just planned some epic Lord of the Rings shoots for a month or so away, so there's lots of cool stuff coming. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time right here on the Battle Games in Middle-earth live stream.